Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Gaowu, Complete Martial Arts Attributes. Chapter 41. After studying the eyes of spiritual vision for a while, the food in my stomach is almost digested. Wang Tang got up and went downstairs, and said hello to his parents. Mom and Dad, I'm going to the martial arts hall. Wang Shengguo just came back from a business trip, so he didn't go to the company tonight. First, he rested at home, and second, he was able to accompany his wife. Right now he is watching TV with Li Xiame in the living room. Seeing the highlights, I will also discuss the bloody plot with Li Xiame. This appearance is no different from thousands of ordinary men in the world. Hearing Wang Tang's voice, Wang Shengguo waved his hands without looking back. Go ahead, don't disturb me and your mother watching TV. It's exciting. Come on. Don't bother your elders. Wang Tang rolled his eyes and slipped away. Li Xiame patted Wang Shengguo, and quickly shouted, Son, what do you want to eat tonight? Mom will cook you a supper. It's fine, Mom, just watch it cook, I'm leaving. Wang Tang's voice came from outside the door, followed by the roar of a sports car. Polestar Martial Arts. Wang Tang parked the car and walked on the small path in the martial arts hall, thinking to himself, let's go directly to the third floor today. Some people already know that my strength is more than an intermediate martial artist. It's best to put things off for a while. Alas, upgrading too fast is also an annoyance. In fact, Wang Tang himself did not expect to be able to become a martial artist so soon. He originally thought that he would at least wait until after the college entrance examination. Accidents always come so suddenly. Unprepared to prevent flash waste. Wang Tang stood in front of the martial arts training building, glanced at the martial arts training building next to him, and sighed deeply. Can't wait. Wang Tang walked into the building, silently completed the test, his identity information was automatically changed, and he was qualified to go to the third floor. After picking up a wave of attributes on the first and second floors, he went straight to the third floor. The stairs leading to the third floor are in a rather conspicuous position. Although Wang Tang didn't want to show off the limelight, he still attracted everyone's attention when he stepped up the stairs. Wang Tang, I didn't expect you to become a high-level martial artist so soon. A familiar student stepped forward and said. The tone is envious. Martial apprentice training, the more difficult it is. Many students here have been stuck in the middle-level martial arts for a long time, and they have never broken through the threshold of advanced martial arts. It is a pity. Hey, Zhang Xiaoyang has become a high-level martial artist, and now another one has left. I heard that this year's reform of the Education Bureau allows intermediate warriors to take the martial arts college entrance examination, but it has nothing to do with us. Why didn't such a policy come out sooner? As soon as the news came out, it was as if they had grown wings. Everyone who should know knew about it. Many of the mid-level warriors present were martial arts practitioners in society, and they were generally too old to take the college entrance examination. Unlike the students in the school, even intermediate warriors will have the opportunity to advance to a higher level in the future. For them, the news was not good news. Instead, it was a blow. Some people were born in the wrong era and missed the good opportunity. What can I do if the time is not with me? You guys work hard, there are always opportunities. Wang Tang nodded to the student and walked to the third floor. Yes, there are always opportunities. This student clenched his fists, and his fighting spirit was rekindled in his eyes. He was only in his early 20s, and it was too early to say that he would give up now. In the crowd, a fat man looked at Wang Tang's pretentious back when he left, and cursed in his heart. I knew it, this guy must have hidden strength, otherwise how could he be faster than me, and how could he be in such a short time? Becoming a high-level martial artist within a short period of time is not martial arts at all. 3 floors. The number of people on the second floor is much smaller than that on the second floor. From the first floor to the third floor, the number decreases layer by layer, which explains the principle of the pyramid. The arrival of Wang Tang made many people stop their training and look back. So young. Another genius. HMPH, genius. Wang Tang glanced over. There were property bubbles all over the place, and a group of two-legged pure wool sheep waiting for him to squeeze. Very nice. At this time, Zhang Xiaoyang, who had just become a senior warrior, came over and stared at Wang Tang strangely. Wang Tang, your speed is a bit scary. I have practiced martial arts since I was a child, and I have been an intermediate martial artist for some time. I just missed an opportunity. Wang Tang laughed. Zhang Xiaoyang put his arms around his shoulders and walked inside with such an expression. Walk, walk, once you come, someone will finally accompany me to practice boxing. In one night, Wang Tang squeezed out all the attribute bubbles on the third floor. Another bountiful harvest. Total, Savvy 6, Spirit 6, Strength 153, Speed 66. Now Wang Tang pays more attention to the improvement of Savvy and Spirit, but these two attributes are as rare as ever. He checked it online. The original force exercises and original force combat skills are relatively profound, so they require a high level of comprehension. If your comprehension is high, you will get twice the result with half the effort in practicing exercises and combat skills, but if your comprehension is too low, you will realize what despair is. Although Wang Tang can improve his skills and combat skills by picking up attributes, the number of warriors is rare, and it is impossible to gather together like warriors and let him gather wool wave after wave. So when you have attributes, pick them up, and when you don't have attributes, you can only cultivate by yourself. Improving Savvy is a rainy day. But anyway, Wang Tang can also improve his understanding by picking up attributes. Accumulate less to make more, accumulate slowly, and you don't believe that you can't pile up your understanding. Unlike others, with low comprehension, what else can I do except despair to death? The spirit attribute is related to the battery life of the spiritual vision ability. This ability may have great achievements in the future, so hurry up and expand the battery capacity now. In addition, tonight he also picked up a lot of basic body skills, basic boxing skills, basic sword skills, and basic knife skills. Now these combat skills are impacting to another level beyond the subtleties. After getting into the subtleties, there is enlightenment potential. Comprehending momentum is the final stage of basic combat skills. At this level, one has to comprehend momentum, and when fighting with others, momentum comes first. Subdue the enemy without fighting. It is the effect of momentum. However, very few people spend a lot of time practicing basic combat skills to this level. With this energy and time, it is better to improve their strength to warriors and practice force combat skills. Wang Tang didn't care. Anyway, he was picking up attributes, and if he didn't pick it up, he wouldn't pick it up. Moreover, learning the basics well is actually good for practicing force combat skills in the future. After all, only with a solid foundation can one build higher floors. In addition to the existing basic combat skills, Wang Tang also got a new basic combat skill, basic stick method. It going to get a Rui golden hoop cudgel in the future, or a hardcore soldier following your heart. Then yelled, "Hey, monster, let go of my liger. The end of the night's fleece, bah, the end of the night's training." After picking up the last attributes, Wang Tang came out of Jixing Martial Arts Hall and drove home along the seaside road. The Pole Star Martial Arts Gym was established by the sea. And along the coastline, there is a road, and there are basically no vehicles passing by at night. Under the pitch-black night, it seemed extraordinarily secluded. Wang Tang was the last to leave, and the other martial arts students had already gone home. Music was on in the car. The exciting music dispels the surrounding silence. Today I watch the snow drift by in the cold night. Flying far away with a cooled heart. Chasing after wind and rain, unable to distinguish traces in fog. The sky is wide, you and me. Can change, who is not changing. Squeak. The harsh sound of brakes suddenly sounded, breaking the rhythm of the music. Wang Tang stopped the car dangerously, and his body rushed forward due to inertia, but he is a warrior after all, and his body coordination ability is extraordinary, so he stopped immediately. High beams illuminate the front, and a big tree falls in the middle of the road. At the same time, on the trunk of the big tree, sat an invisible figure. Wang Tang frowned. This person seems to be a bad person. It was totally directed at him. Just as he was about to get out of the car, he suddenly remembered something and opened his spiritual vision eye. A group of light like a 50-watt incandescent lamp appeared in the field of vision. Force. Musha. Wang Tang's heart skipped a beat. Why would a warrior come to him? Who is the opponent? What's the purpose? A bunch of questions came to mind. But from the intensity of light fed back from the eyes of spiritual vision, and compared with himself, even if he fights, he will not be afraid. Wang Teng took out his sword, put on his gloves, and slowly got out of the car. Hand over the things. The man looked at Wang Teng and said suddenly. What? I don't seem to know you. Wang Teng said suspiciously. It doesn't matter if you know me or not, but if you hand over what you got from Bowen Mountain, I can spare your life. The man said coldly. What did you get from Bowen Mountain? I don't know what you're talking about. Wang Teng's heart skipped a beat. How does this person know that he took it? The man sneered, stood up and walked towards Wang Teng. You don't know. Then where did you get the sword and gloves in your hand? Of course I bought this. Wang Teng said indifferently. The other party walked in, and he finally saw clearly that this was a man in his 30s. His appearance was unremarkable, but his eyes were like a lone wolf walking alone, not like a kind person. When death is imminent, you still dare to speak hard. The man raised his mobile phone. The members of our team all have positioning systems installed on their mobile phones. Brought back his mobile phone. There is a positioning device on the phone, so careless. Wang Teng cursed himself inwardly. How about it? You have nothing to say. Tell me where the things are, and I will spare your life. I might as well tell you that I am a warrior. Even if you are a mere warrior with a rune weapon, you can't be my opponent. So, don't make mistakes. The man said lightly. Wang Teng rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, I have always carried those 2 mobile phones with me. This person has just found me, and he probably doesn't know where my home is. There was a shocked look on his face. Warrior, you are actually a warrior. But if I give you something, will you really let me go? Wang Teng was possessed by an opera spirit, with an uneasy expression on his face, both hesitant and a little scared, as if it was difficult to make a decision. Of course, you should be thankful that I'm the only one handling this matter. If my other teammates know about it, they're not as easy to talk to as I am, the man said. The others don't know. Wang Teng raised his head. Yes, that's all I know, so you don't have to worry about other people making trouble for you. The man seemed to want to convince Wang Teng with a sincere expression. Okay, then I'll tell you, you have to promise to spare my life. Wang Teng gritted his teeth, and finally nodded heavily. He walked over to each other. The man had a smile on his face. Don't worry, I will do what I say. I, a warrior, will not lie to you, a little warrior. I put that thing in. Wang Teng walked within 3 meters in front of the man, his eyes fixed, and he stomped heavily, violently. The smile on the man's face suddenly became ferocious. Little fool, I knew you would not be honest, and I have been on guard against you for a long time. How can I hide this little thought from me? A mere warrior. Today I will show you the gap between warriors and warriors. The man punched Wang Teng with a fist, and the fist was covered with a layer of yellow force, giving off a thick and heavy feeling. Wang Teng swung his long sword. Basic swordsmanship down to the micro level. When the sword was drawn, no force was used. However, just as the long sword collided with the opponent's fist, an explosive scorching force burst out. Boom! The two collided and roared. Wang Teng tried his best, but the opponent regarded him as a warrior and just hit him at will. Let's judge. Laugh. Muscles were severed, bones were severed, blood spurted and splashed Lao Gao. The man's screams followed. Ah! One arm was chopped off by Wang Teng. The man who was confident just now, as if everything was under control, now his face was pale, his face was distorted by pain, and his face was full of shock and disbelief. Musha, you are actually a warrior. The man couldn't help screaming. He never imagined that the boy in front of him, who looked like just a high school student, would be a real martial artist. Escape. Must escape. Otherwise you will die. The man had a broken arm, and his strength was greatly damaged. He knew that he was no match for Wang Teng, so he turned around and ran away full of resentment. He saw Wang Teng's murderous face. And those indifferent eyes. I can't see the slightest anxiety and fear for a long time. It's all fake, it's all pretended by him. This, a dramatist. Want to go. Wang Teng cut off the man's arm with one move, without any hesitation. His subtle body skills unfolded, his speed increased sharply, and the sword was wrapped in flames, and he slashed towards the opponent. Boy, don't bully people too much. The man yelled in horror, dodging again and again. Wang Teng remained unmoved, and followed his body like a shadow, pressing every step of the way. But the opponent is obviously the kind of veteran warrior with rich actual combat experience. Even if he was seriously injured, he still struggled to support him. It can't be too long. Quick battle. Wang Tang's heart was urgent, and in a trance, a flash of spiritual light flashed, and the sword was thrown out of his hand and slammed at the opponent. Call out. The battle sword carried the power of flames, rushing forward like a crossbow bolt off the string. The man's pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a pinprick, the hairs all over his body stood up, and he tried his best to dodge sideways. Laugh. The war sword cut open his chest, leaving a bloodstain, and there were scorched marks all around. But he still escaped the sword after all. Hoo-hoo. The man panted heavily, feeling like he was alive after a catastrophe. Ha ha ha, little fool, you can't kill me today. He laughed out loud, but before he could finish speaking, a gust of chilly wind slammed hard from his right side. Turned. A fist that looked like an ice lump quickly enlarged in front of his eyes. Ice element force. No, my head hurts a bit, I've tried my best. No, the man screamed loudly, frantically mobilized the origin force in his body, and condensed a khaki shield. Earth element shield. But the shield has not been completely condensed. Wang Tang's small diamond stardust fist, no, his phantom ice fist has already smashed over. Boom, click. The battle shield shattered directly, and the fist fell on the opponent's face. Passive skill activation, broken face. The man was punched flying. There is no special effect of 50 cents, only the extreme chill, which invades the opponent's head and freezes his head. The man's screams stopped abruptly as soon as they started. The frightened expression froze on his face, his body flew out and fell to the ground. This was a fatal blow. Wang Tang used all the ice force in the original nucleus. Even if it is not much, it is enough to kill. The other party fell. From the start, the information he had was wrong. Wang Tang is a warrior, not a warrior. Wang Tang had no intention of doing mental calculations, so he launched a sneak attack with the strength of a high-level martial artist, making the opponent think that the wisdom pearl is in his hands. As a result, Wang Tang unknowingly exploded with his strength as a warrior. He had no time to react, and his arm was cut off. Afterwards, his will to fight disappeared completely, and he only wanted to escape for his life. Under such circumstances, he didn't even display half of his combat power, so he was sent to meet Hades with a punch from Wang Tang. The battle is over. Wang Tang's heart was beating fast, and he was panting slightly. I killed a warrior. He was slightly taken aback. This time is different from the warrior who killed in Bowen Mountain last time. At that time, the opponent was already seriously injured, and Wang Tang did not kill the opponent head-on, but used a rune gun. The warrior didn't expect that Wang Tang's speed was much faster than ordinary high-level warriors, so that he couldn't make a sneak attack. He even didn't expect that Wang Tang, a high school student, had a rune gun hidden in his body. For various reasons, Wang Tang easily killed a warrior with a few shots. So I'm actually an old fool. How can it be? Wang Tang shook his head quickly. He picked up the battle sword, stepped forward, hesitated for a while, and then stabbed the sword into the man's heart. Although the ice force had frozen the opponent's brain, just in case, it would be safer to add a sword to the heart. Several attribute bubbles fell next to the corpse. Elementary Soil Talent *12. Earth Force 3. Wangtu Gong 1. Spirit 1. Strength 10. Earth Warrior. It seems that there will be another series of talent attributes. I am really going farther and farther on the road of all attributes. Wang Tang picked up the attribute bubble, and his mental attribute was +1. His mind was clear, and at the same time, the training method of Wangtu Gong immediately appeared in his memory. His body also turned into an Earth-type affinity physique, and instantly felt the Earth-type origin force wandering between heaven and Earth. The original force of the Earth element poured into Wang Tang's body, and the 3 points of the original force of the Earth element picked up from the other side also merged into it. According to the operation method of Wangtu Gong, after circulating the limbs and bones, they enter the original nucleus. The balance in the pronucleus was broken in an instant. The origin force of the ice element was faintly restless. But that mysterious power reappeared and calmed him down. The three slowly rotated and returned to balance again, gradually forming a three-legged situation. Perception, 88.1. Spirit, 20.2. Talent, Elementary Fire Talent 11/300, Elementary Ice Talent 13/300, Elementary Earth Talent 12/300, Vision Elementary 1.110. Original Force, 62/100, Fire 1-star Trooper Level. 5/100 Ice 1-star Trooper Level. 4/100 Earth 1-star Trooper Level. Cultivation Method, Red Flame Ju Entry 2/100, Mysterious Ice Ju Entry 2/100, Lowest Kung Fu 2 Yuan Shield Entry 2/100. Combat Skills, Basic Combat Skills, Fist, Sword, Knife, Subtlety, Basic Stick Technique Entry Level, Spear Technique Minor Success, Fire Lin Sword Technique Entry Level 40/100, Magic Ice Boxing Entry Level 9/100. Knowledge, Basic Subjects, Full Score. Comprehensive Combat Power, 195. Blank Attribute, 0. You didn't drop combat skills this time. Looking at the attribute panel, Wang Teng felt a little pity. However, Wangtu Kung Fu contains a defensive combat technique, Earth Element Shield. The defensive shield that this person used before should be this combat skill. At that time, he was blown up by me before he could fully use it. I don't know how the defense is. I have to find a chance to try it out. Wang Teng is still very satisfied with this Earth Element Shield. He doesn't lack offensive combat skills now, but he has no defensive means, and the Earth Element Shield just makes up for his shortcomings. This time the mental attribute dropped a bit too much, directly to 1 point. Could it be because I attacked his head? Then should I go get a brick and shoot people on the back of the head in the future? Thinking of this, Wang Teng suddenly felt that there was a lot to do. These thoughts just flashed in his mind, and then his eyes fell on the corpse in front of him. It's time to unleash the God-level skill, the method of touching the corpse. As a result, except for a mobile phone, the man's pocket was empty, and there was no sign of a rune weapon. So poor. How did Wang Teng know that this man was really poor? Not long after he became a warrior, he spent a lot of money to buy a copy of Wangtu Kung Fu, and he didn't have any money left to buy combat skills and weapons. Otherwise, how could he have come to arrest Wang Teng alone without telling the other teammates he was talking about? It is nothing more than wanting to swallow the relics of those two warriors. Wang Teng didn't waste any more time, and the original force of the fire element directly ignited his body, burning it to ashes. He looked at the gradually extinguished flame in front of him, feeling a little dazed. In less than a month, he had several lives on his hands. Although he didn't take the initiative to cause trouble every time, he always fought back passively, otherwise he would be the one who lost his life. But people are killed by him after all. It was his hands that were stained with blood. Oh, sin. Wang Teng sighed, thinking that he was pure and good, but the world is like this, forcing good people into prostitution. The fire was completely extinguished. When the sea breeze blows, the embers are completely scattered with the wind. Suddenly discovered, the original force of the fire element is simply murder and arson, a must-have product for the home. Holding the warrior's mobile phone in his hand, Wang Teng narrowed his eyes slightly, and suddenly exerted strength in his hand. Click! An expensive fruit machine was immediately crushed by him. He sneered at the corner of his mouth, threw it into the sea, and sank into the sea with a plop. Then he took out the two mobile phones he had obtained before from the car, did the same thing, and sank into the sea. If you want to find it, let them go to the sea to find it. This incident can be regarded as a wake-up call for Wang Teng. In modern society, technological products have to be careful. Wang Teng drove away. Fortunately, it was very late and no other vehicles passed by. Otherwise, if this scene of murder and destruction of corpses and traces is seen by others, it will probably scare people. When Wang Teng returned home, he took out the items he had touched from the two warriors, checked them carefully one by one, and was relieved to make sure that there was no tracking device. In the future, it's better not to take these things home, so as not to drag parents into the vendetta of warriors. They are not warriors, it is best not to touch these. It's no wonder that ordinary people know little about the world of warriors. It turns out that they haven't really stepped into it, and they are really people from two worlds. Wang Teng was a little emotional and thought to himself, in this way, I can only go out and rent a house, and I will go and see it tomorrow. At this time, Li Xiaomei's voice came from downstairs. Son, Come and eat supper. I'm lucky that I have practiced martial arts, otherwise I don't know how fat I will be if I eat like this. Tuesday. As soon as Wang Shengguo came home, Wang Tang couldn't make waves anymore. I had to go to school honestly. He put the egg in his backpack and put it in the car with 2 weapons, planning to rent a house outside today. Come to a golden nest egg. To school. Wang Tang was surprised to find that many people were studying 5-year martial arts examination and 3-year simulation. The crazy energy made him a little scared after reading it. Even Lin Chuhan was no exception. He immersed himself in his studies, taking notes and muttering words. This is really, if you are not crazy, you cannot survive. The martial arts test is really attractive to everyone. Even if the chance is slim, many people are unwilling to give up. They risked their lives. Pooh, they missed the college entrance examination. No matter what, they had to fight it out. Wang Tang was very pleased. The attribute bubbles of the 5-year martial arts examination and 3-year simulation. In this place, students, you are really awesome, study hard, study hard. While picking up the attributes, Wang Tang expressed his admiration for the hardworking students. You are all good. One morning, Wang Tang quickly mastered the 5-year Wukao 3-year simulation. At noon, after having lunch with Xu Jia and the others, he drove out of the school. Zhao Ganghu and Zhao Gangbao had been waiting at the gate of Donghai No. 1 middle school for almost 2 hours. After thinking about it all night yesterday, Zhao Ganghu made a decision that he couldn't even believe. At this time, although he had waited for a long time, he did not dare to complain. Zhao Gangbao looked dejected, sitting on the steps by the side of the road, smoking a cigarette, looking a bit vicissitudes. As soon as Wang Tang's car drove out, Zhao Ganghu recognized it immediately. Young Master Wang. His eyes lit up, and he yelled quickly. Wang Tang was about to drive away. When he heard the voice, he stepped on the brake again. Well, it's him. He's really here. Park the car on the side of the road. Why, think it over so quickly? Wang Tang asked after getting out of the car and looking at Zhao Ganghu. Since I promised young Master Wang, I must make a decision as soon as possible. Zhao Ganghu said with a wry smile. Then what decision did you make? Seeing his appearance, Wang Tang was a little curious and asked with great interest. Zhao Ganghu gritted his teeth, as if he was hesitant when the situation was approaching, but he finally said, Young Master Wang, although I, Zhao Ganghu, am not talented, there are still some junior and intermediate warriors under my command. If you don't dislike young Master Wang, we will follow young Master Wang in the future. Wang Tang was a little surprised. He had thought that Zhao Ganghu would go bankrupt to raise more money, or get a few rune weapons to resolve the grievances between the two sides. But it never occurred to him that Zhao Ganghu had done so thoroughly that he wanted to lead a group of subordinates into his command. Brother. Zhao Gangbao was shocked. He also did not expect Zhao Ganghu to make such a decision. If he really became Wang Tang's subordinate, wouldn't he have no backing in the future? Wang Tang didn't know what to think of, and his heart couldn't help but move. Although Zhao Ganghu was the only one among junior, intermediate and high-level warriors, he was still considered a small force after all. It's not out of the question. But he didn't agree right away, with a thoughtful look on his face. Seeing this, Zhao Ganghu's heart skipped a beat, and he pulled out Zhao Gangbao who was beside him. If young Master Wang thinks it's not enough, it's my younger brother who caused this matter. Since he can't control his lower body, it's better to cut it off and let him. He will never dare to do evil again. Zhao Gangbao almost peed on the spot. Brother. My dear brother, you must have picked me up, how could you be so cruel to me? He yelled and struggled desperately. But with his strength, how could he resist Zhao Ganghu, a senior warrior? Wang Tang was also stunned. Cut. Cut. It took him a while to slow down, looking at Zhao Ganghu with a strange expression. If it wasn't for the fact that these two people were 7 to 8 points alike in appearance, he would really have thought that Zhao Gangbao had picked them up. Isn't it too cruel to cut it off? Wang Tang pondered for a moment. When Zhao Gangbao heard that Wang Tang actually spoke for him, he was almost moved to tears and nodded quickly. Brother, you see that young Master Wang said that, so please forgive me this time. I don't dare anymore. This time, it was purely because of the lard, that I thought I shouldn't have thought about Wang Xiao's friend. I knew I was wrong. Zhao Ganghu was unmoved, but Wang Tang nodded. it seems that your brother really knew that he was wrong. If that's the case, don't cut it off. Zhao Ganghu and Zhao Ganghu always felt that something was weird when they heard this, but they couldn't react for a while. Zhao Gangbao was even more overjoyed, knowing that as long as Wang Tang let go, his brother would definitely not be cruel. However, Wang Tang paused and continued. I'm always kind, so cut off half of it. Zhao Ganghu, Zhao Gangbao, you must be a devil. The heart must be black. Half. Go to the fucking half. Zhao Gangbao's entire face turned pale, and he stared blankly at Wang Tang, especially the "I'm kind" expression on his face, which made him feel bad. Young Master Wang, or cut it off entirely. Zhao Ganghu's eyelids were twitching crazily, and he kept telling himself in his heart that he must never mess with Wang Tang in the future. At this moment, Zhao Gangbao even felt that Zhao Ganghu said this sentence for his own benefit. Cut in half. It's better to be more straightforward. Zhao Gangbao's eyes were glazed, half of them were frightened, and half of them were hopeless. This world is terrible, mother, I want to go home. Seeing that the effect had been achieved, Wang Tang stopped scaring Zhao Gangbao, patted him on the shoulder, and said, Okay, scare you, don't cause trouble everywhere in the future, it's not every time you meet such a talkative person like me. Zhao Gangbao raised his head suddenly, his face was full of surprise, so there was no need to cut it off. But if you do it again in the future, I will take care of you myself. Wang Tang said lightly, then ignored him, got into the car, started the engine, and prepared to leave. Young Master Wang, what do you think of my proposal just now? Zhao Ganghu shouted hastily. Don't worry, wait until I have a look at your details, if it meets my requirements, then it's not too late to talk. Wang Tang lowered the car window, glanced at Zhao Ganghu, left a word, and drove away. Wait for the car to go away. Zhao Gangbao asked cautiously. Brother, don't you want to cut me? Idiot, you're the only one who really thinks I'll cut you up. Young Master Wang can tell if I know how to cut you. It's just to scare you, just to see how ugly you are. Zhao Ganghu stared. Zhao Gangbao was used to being scolded, so he didn't take it seriously, he just breathed a sigh of relief, patted his chest and said, I'm scared to death. Useless stuff. Zhao Ganghu became more angry and kicked him hard. Zhao Gangbao skillfully jumped to the side, dodged it, smiled, and asked again, Brother, do you really want to hang out with him? Following a warrior, still such a young warrior, has a better future than following me as a high-level warrior. Zhao Ganghu said leisurely. After separating from Zhao Ganghu, Wang Tang was thinking about the other party's proposal while driving. I have to admit that Zhao Ganghu is a little clever. Relying on himself as a martial artist can not only resolve the previous grievances, but also turn himself into his umbrella. And that cunning trick, hey, Wang Tang smiled inexplicably. So, should we accept his surrender? Thinking about something, Wang Tang drove his sports car to a community. When he was in school in the morning, he went to 58 and searched for houses between Donghai No. 1 middle school and his home. And I made an appointment with several landlords to go to see the house at noon. The community in front of me is the first one, and the landlord is a middle-aged woman in her 50s. Because Wang Tang was a little late, his complexion was not very good, but when he saw Wang Tang driving a sports car, his eyes lit up immediately and he seemed enthusiastic like something in a blink of an eye. She took Wang Tang to see the house, and kept talking about how good her house was and how convenient the transportation was. Wang Tang's head got dizzy. And when it came to rent, he was even more speechless. It was written on the internet that it was 3,500 a month, but now it has become 6,000, an increase of almost half. Obviously took him for a fool. In the end, Wang Tang could only shirk and go back and think about it, so he was able to get rid of this snarky ant. Coming out of the community, he couldn't help wiping off his cold sweat. It was terrible. Then I looked at 2 or 3 more, but I was not very satisfied. Those few landlords are either weird, or the conditions are not looking for tenants, but looking for someone to take care of the house. Why can't I enter this room, and that electrical appliance can't be used? My house has just been renovated, the walls must not be dirty. Remember to water the flowers and plants I put on the balcony, feed the cats and dogs, etc., and other conditions. Wang Tang had nothing to say. Since you are not willing to part with it, why bother to rent it out? Since these flowers and plants are so precious, and cats and dogs are so cute, why don't you take them away and raise them yourself? After going back and forth for an hour without any gain, Wang Teng shook his head and went straight to the last house. Actually, don't have too much hope. If I knew it earlier, I would have gone to an intermediary. Wang Teng shook his head. After the defeat of the Wang family in his previous life, he rented a house by himself and was tricked by an intermediary several times. This last listing is located near Donghai University town. The location is no longer on the line between his home and Donghai No. 1 middle school. But this place is quite secluded, and because it is located on the edge of the university town, the security problem is not bad. He saw it by accident and thought it was good, so he planned to come over and have a look. Are you the young Master Wang who is in charge of the Kidian orphanage? The landlord is a middle-aged burly man, wearing beach shorts and flip-flops, standing on the side of the road, and asked Wang Teng in a daze when he met him. Come on, young Master Wang is the leader of the Kidian orphanage. After thinking about it for a while, I remembered, it seems that this is my screen name. But this is a masterpiece of the second-year middle school in the previous life, and I have long forgotten it now, and I didn't even pay attention to see my name when I surfed the internet. I didn't expect to be called out. What a shame. I just want to explode in place. Although he really wanted to find a crack in the ground to sneak in, but he still looked very calm on the surface, and nodded. You are the landlord. It's me, let's go, I'll take you to see the house. The big man who picked his feet was very natural, without any fuss. It seems that he is also someone who has seen the big scene. He led Wang Teng to walk in one direction. There is a low-rise folk house in front of me. Walking in from the main road, I turned around in the small alley, and after a while, I came to a house with a yard. The exterior wall is gray and covered with vines. The landlord opened the iron gate and walked in first. See for yourself. Wang Teng was not polite either, and looked around. The more I look at it, the more I feel satisfied. The location of this house is quiet. Although it looks old from the outside, the interior decoration is new and looks very comfortable. Moreover, he also brought a small courtyard, which looked spacious, and if he wanted to practice martial arts, he could relax his hands and feet. Not far outside is the university town. Although it is very quiet here, once you go outside, you can see the student street in the distance, and it is still very lively after 10 o'clock in the evening. The people living nearby are all ordinary people, and there are also many college students renting here, so there are not so many messy people. How about it? Seeing Wang Teng come back from a circle, the landlord asked. Not bad, let's talk about the price. Wang Teng nodded. The landlord took a cigarette and put it in his mouth, and at the same time passed one to Wang Teng. Do you want to smoke? Wang Teng was not polite, took it and put it in his mouth. The landlord lit the cigarette, took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and asked, Are you renting alone? Yes, Wang Teng nodded. If you rent it alone, it's not cheap, but seeing you drive a sports car, it's probably not short of the money. The landlord smiled. Well, I won't overcharge you, 5,000 a month, is it acceptable? Wang Teng had checked the rent in this area before he came, and the price can be said to be quite reasonable. And the decoration inside is very good. It stands to reason that if the price is more expensive, someone will rent it. Wang Teng couldn't help but glanced at the big man who picked his feet, feeling a little surprised in his heart. What's the matter? It's too cheap. The big man with his feet could tell what he was thinking at a glance, and smiled with his big yellow teeth on his lips. The price is okay. It doesn't matter if it's expensive, but I have one condition. Wang Teng said. There are still conditions. Tell me. The big man raised his eyebrows. During my renting period, no one else can come in, including you. Wang Teng said. Yes, this is what it should be. The big man who picked his feet nodded without any hesitation. In the end, the foot-picking man didn't charge too much, and he agreed that 5,000 would be 5,000, which made Wang Teng feel a little fond of him. Rent deposit 1 to pay 3. Alipay transfer. The contract is signed. The foot-picking man took out a bunch of keys and handed them to Wang Teng. If you don't worry, I can also give you the spare key. I live in the newly built community next door. If you don't rush to leave, I'll go back and get it for you. A community that can be seen here said. I'll move here tonight, and you can give it to me then. Wang Tang didn't refuse. The foot-picking man nodded, and he and Wang Tang walked out to the road, which was only a few minutes away. When we got to the road and were about to say goodbye, the phone of the big man rang. The vast horizon is my love. The unrestrained and passionate cell phone ringtone spread on the road, causing many passing college students to look back. The return rate is 200%. Hey, daughter-in-law. Okay, I'll be right back. What? Oh, buy a bottle of soy sauce. Okay, go buy it now. Wang Tang looked at the burly man who had been looking calm and stable just now, but now he looked like a mouse seeing a cat, nodding and bowing over the phone, full of flattery, and his expression was very exciting for a while. After a while, the big man hung up the phone and heaved a sigh of relief. Lighted a cigarette to suppress the shock. His back straightened up instantly. Hey, I think I'm a man who owns 18 demolished houses, why did I fall into this woman's hands? Quote. Wang Tang, brother, you seem to have revealed something extraordinary. Wang Tang suddenly understood. No wonder the landlord treats money like dirt, and doesn't care whether the rent of 1 or 2,000 yuan is more or less. The man who owns 18 demolition houses is so outstanding. It's so awesome. Not convinced. It just seems a little scary. Under his strong appearance, what Wang Tang saw was a weak, helpless and torn heart. Amen. 3 seconds of silence. Seeing Wang Tang's eyes, the foot-picking man opened his mouth. Brother, there is no need to say anything, I understand, I also admire a man like you, go and call. Oh no, buy soy sauce, my sister-in-law is still waiting for you. Wang Tang patted him on the shoulder and said earnestly. The big man with his feet opened his mouth again, but couldn't utter a word. Finally, he waved his hands and walked dejectedly to the nearby convenience store, to buy soy sauce. A real man should be like this, dare to face the tigress at home. Wang Tang got into the car, and took a last look at the bleak figure, leaving a sentence of emotion blowing in the wind. When Wang Tang returned to school, there were still 10 minutes before class would start. But he doesn't plan to go back to class. For him, it was a waste of time to honestly stay in class. There is no need to worry about the 5-year martial arts examination and 3-year simulation, as you can quickly reach full marks if you take the time to brush it every day. Squad leader, cover for me this afternoon. Wang Tang said something to Lin Chuhan, and under the helpless eyes of the other party, he left the classroom leisurely. This guy is really irritating. He asks me to cover up every time. If I knew it earlier, I would have ignored him. He keeps making progress again and again. Lin Chuhan couldn't help stamping his feet. In fact, the teachers of various subjects have always turned a blind eye to Wang Tang, a wealthy second generation, who skipped classes and even played with mobile phones in class. In the eyes of the teachers, Wang Tang has always been a scumbag, and they are very lucky that he does not affect other students in the class. The class bell rang. The noise in the school gradually quieted down, and after a while, only the sound of the teacher lecturing was left. Wang Tang was walking on the school road and decided to find a place to practice the force. Since he became a martial artist, he hasn't practiced seriously. Now that I have free time, I will use it to practice the original force technique and see how it works. There is a small forest behind the playground, except for some unscrupulous students who smoke there, few people go there. It was class time again, and there was no one there. Wang Tang thought for a while, then walked in the direction of the grove. In the small woods, there were occasional chirping of insects and birds, making it very quiet. Wang Tang walked inside for a while, and saw a big rock on which a person could just sit. He jumped lightly and sat down cross-legged on the stone. A shade of a tree overhead just blocks the scorching sun. Even though the temperature was still very high, he used the force of the ice element to create a ring of ice cubes around it. The temperature immediately dropped a lot. Comfortable. Seeing no one around, he closed his eyes and began to practice the original force technique. First is the red flame Ju. According to the root of the exercises, the original force of the fire element in the protocore was pulled out by him, and circulated in the limbs and bones. Wang Tang gradually entered the state of cultivation. The original force of the fire element floating between the sky and the earth rushed towards him. According to the description in Red Flame Ju, the original force circulates in the body along the route of the exercise, and then returns to the original nucleus, which is a cycle. At this time, the original force of the fire element had been running for a week, but Wang Tang did not stop, and continued to practice. 1 Sunday, 2 Sundays, 3 Sundays. An hour passed quickly. In terms of cultivation, Wang Tang showed rare concentration. An hour later, he slowly opened his eyes, feeling that the fire force in his body had grown a lot, and he was also more proficient in the red flame art. His eyes fell on the property panel. Perception, 83.1. Spirit, 20.2. Talent, Elementary Fire Talent 11/300, Elementary Ice Talent 13/300, Elementary Earth Talent 12/300, Vision Elementary 1.110. Original Force, 63/100, Fire 1-star Trooper Level. 5/100 Ice 1-star Trooper Level. 4/100 Earth 1-star Trooper Level. Cultivation Method Red Flame Ju Entry 5/100, Mysterious Ice Ju Entry 2/100, Lowest Kung Fu 2 Yuan Shield Entry 2/100. Combat Skills. Basic Combat Skills Fist, Sword, Knife, Subtlety Basic Stick Technique Entry Level Spear Technique Minor Success Fire Lin Sword Technique Entry Level 40/100, Magic Ice Boxing Entry Level 9/100. Knowledge. Basic Subjects Full Score. Comprehensive Combat Power 195. Blank Attribute 0. The original force of the fire element has only increased a little. Wang Tang stared. It took him an entire hour of practice to increase the force of the fire element. This speed made him feel a little unbelievable. Usually rely on picking attributes to improve, and the strength should not increase too fast. Sure enough, there is no harm without comparison. It seems that I am really spoiled by the system. What if one day the system disappears? Thinking of this possibility, Wang Tang's heart tightened immediately, and he shook his head quickly. No, you can't rely too much on the system, you have to work hard. Taking a deep breath, Wang Tang's eyes became firm. After figuring this out, his mentality gradually settled. Then he looked down again. Red Flame Ju Entry 5/100, the proficiency has increased by 3 points compared to before. Wang Tang nodded secretly. If he continues to work hard like this, it is only a matter of time before he breaks through. At the next level, the cultivation speed will definitely be faster. Next, he continued to practice, but later changed to Xuanbing Ju and Wangtu Gong. Compared to the fire-type origin force, the ice-type origin force and the earth-type origin force are undoubtedly too weak. Against the enemy last night, the original force of the ice element played a decisive role in the battle as a surprise attack. Therefore, it is very necessary to enhance these two kinds of force, which can be used as trump cards in the future. Time flies. Throughout the afternoon, Wang Tang sat motionless on the rock, practicing the original force technique. When the bell rang for the last class in the afternoon, he stopped practicing. Take a look at the properties panel. The original force of the ice system and the original force of the earth system have increased by 1.5 points respectively. At the same time, the proficiency of Xuanbingju increased by 4 points, and the proficiency of Wangtu Gong increased by 3 points. Good harvest. This time Wang Tang is not too short. Well, the mentality is very stable. He was about to get off the rock, but his legs became stiff and he almost fell into the mud. My mother, I was scared to death. Hurriedly holding onto the stone, he took a breath. A martial artist almost fell off such a high stone, and if he said it, he would die of laughter. Eggy, the novels are all deceptive. Whoever said cross-legged practice is better, the legs are numb. The two legs couldn't move at all, so Wang Tang had to open them with his hands. After a while, he was able to walk on the ground, and he was really complaining in his heart. After class, the school became extremely noisy. Students of all ages and classes came out of the classroom one after another, converging into a crowd and rushing towards the school gate. Wang Tang went straight to the teaching staff's office to find Comrade Fan Weiming, the old class, to sign up for the martial arts exam. The office was more lively than Wang Tang imagined. Especially the class teachers in the third year of high school were surrounded by several students, making the office crowded instantly. Wang Tang knocked on the door and immediately attracted everyone's attention. I have to admit that Wang Tang still had some reputation in the third year of high school. Why him? What is he here for? Is he also here to sign up? The rich second generation also participated in the martial arts test. Has he practiced martial arts? Don't come here to be funny. Have people said that they have never practiced martial arts? The sudden rhetorical question caused the few people who were talking in low voices to fall into a strange silence. I don't think I said that. So, what are you all trying to do? Oh. The topic came to an abrupt end. Then everyone continued to surround their homeroom teachers and buried themselves in the registration, as if nothing had happened just now. Wang Tang. Fan Weiming also saw Wang Tang, and said in surprise, "Are you signing up too? Come in." As a competent class teacher, he is very clear that there are several students in the class who have the opportunity to apply for the martial arts major. But this obviously does not include Wang Tang. Although Wang Tang's father gave him a gift, Fan Weiming is a principled head teacher. Wait a while to persuade this kid, the martial arts test is not a joke. Fan Weiming thought to himself, and then said, "Wait here for a while, I'll help them register first." Okay. Wang Tang nodded. His eyes fell on several classmates, except for a few unfamiliar ones. They were Yang Jian, who was sitting in front of him, and deskmate and monitor Lin Chuhan. Forget about Yang Jian. After all, he has an uncle who works in the education bureau. He received the inside information very early, and he was more fully prepared than the others, so he should be very sure. As for Lin Chuhan, let alone her strength, the 5-year martial arts examination and 3-year simulation alone is enough for her to drink a pot. But she actually came to sign up the day after the news was announced. You must know that many people are still hesitating, and they are not sure about paying attention in a short time. Because there is an overlap between the martial arts exam and the ordinary college entrance examination, if you apply for the martial arts exam, you will definitely not be able to take some subject exams in the ordinary college entrance examination. It seems that Lin Chuhan's determination is not small. Lin Chuhan, are you really thinking about it? Wang Tang leaned to Lin Chuhan's side and asked in a low voice. Yes, squad leader, the martial arts test is not a joke, especially the actual combat test does have a fatality rate, which is very dangerous. Yang Jian had been hesitating on how to speak before, but seeing Wang Tang start talking now, he also persuaded him. Well, I've thought about all these. Lin Chuhan nodded and said. Do your parents also agree? Wang Tang frowned. My parents. I can make my own decisions. Lin Chuhan obviously hesitated, but said so anyway. The corner of Wang Tang's mouth twitched. You didn't discuss it with your parents at all. Is this girl so thoughtful? He wanted to persuade her a few more words, but seeing her stubborn and pretty face, he swallowed the words again. Oh, forget it, everyone has the right to choose. Now that she has made up her mind, it's pointless for me to persuade her. Seeing that Wang Tang shut up, Yang Jian couldn't say anything more. At this time, the other students had already registered, so he stepped forward, paid the registration fee, and then filled out the registration form, which was considered a registration. The process is surprisingly simple. After Yang Jian signed up and left, Fan Weiming picked up the water glass at hand, opened the lid, and blew into his mouth. Wang Tang sharp-eyed saw a few goji berries rolling mischievously inside. Lin Chuhan tried hard to maintain a serious expression on his face. Fan Weiming didn't feel anything strange about them at all. He took a sip of the water soaked with goji berries, and looked at the two in front of him with some headaches. One is the top student in their third year of high school 8 class, the top seedling of the entire third year of high school, who is expected to be the first school. But this kid actually wants to take part in the martial arts test. It's not that the martial arts test is not good, but whether it is suitable or not. In terms of study, Lin Chuhan is the top in Donghai number 1 middle school, but the martial arts test, let alone other things, even if she can pass the test, her grades will definitely not be very high, at least not to the level of liberal arts. Lin Chuhan came over right after class. He had been persuading him for a long time before, but she was so determined that she couldn't persuade him no matter what. How could this make Fan Weiming not have a headache? As for the other, Wang Tang, a rich second generation, his studies have been broken into scum, there is nothing to say, but the martial arts test is different from ordinary tests. Fan Weiming doesn't want him to make fun of his life. So he said, Wang Tang, I said before that the actual combat assessment of the martial arts test is very dangerous. You didn't hear it. Go. Teacher, I listened to it. Wang Tang rolled his eyes in his heart. Why don't you trust me so much? I heard it. Then why do you still want to sign up for the martial arts exam? Fan Weiming was really puzzled. Teacher, I know that you are doing it for my own good, but I have a sense of propriety, so you can rest assured. Wang Tang saw his disapproving look, so he had to use his trump card, and, my father also agreed. Oh, your father agreed. Fan Weiming was slightly taken aback, and thought in his heart, it seems that there are connections, rich people are good. Then he nodded. In that case, come over and register. As he spoke, he handed the registration form to Wang Tang. After Wang Tang paid the money, he signed his name on the registration form, and it was done. At the same time, Fan Weiming said to Lin Chuhan, Chuhan, the teacher still hopes that you can think about it more. The college entrance examination is a major event in life, so you can't be arrogant. Teacher, I'm really not being impulsive. I really have thought clearly. Lin Chuhan smiled wryly. She really didn't expect that the biggest obstacle turned out to be the head teacher. Although it was for her own good, she really wanted to take part in the martial arts test, and she was so determined in her heart that if she didn't take part, she would regret it for the rest of her life. Teacher, even if I take the martial arts test, I will not give up my liberal arts studies. Lin Chuhan bit her lip and said, if I don't pass the exam this year, I will give up completely. I will repeat the exam for another year next year, and then I will take the ordinary college entrance exam. Speaking of this, even if Fan Weiming was reluctant, he had no choice but to sigh and let her sign up. Wait for the two to leave the office. A teacher next to him said to Fan Weiming, Teacher Fan, that is the top student in your class, right? You just let her go. So what if I don't let go? If she is determined, can I not sign her up? Fan Weiming gave the other side a sideways look. Oh, that's true, but having said that, the attraction of this martial art is really terrifying. If I were a few years younger, I would like to practice it. The teacher said. When you are old, who says you can't practice martial arts? The Taijiquan handed down from our planet Earth, after being improved by martial artists, is very suitable for the elderly to practice. Even if you can't become a martial artist, at least there is no problem in strengthening your body. Fan Weiming took a sip of wolfberry water, and the old god said. Oh, Teacher Fan, have you ever practiced? The teacher's eyes lit up. Hee, of course I have practiced. Fan Weiming was a little proud, and suddenly became interested. Let me tell you, this Tai Chi is super healthy. After practicing, the waist no longer hurts, the head is no longer bald, and I feel more energetic every night. Awesome. Teacher Fan, teach me when you have time. No problem, see you in the park tonight. Okay, see you in the park. Coming out of the head teacher's office, Wang Tang and Lin Chuhan walked side by side towards the school gate. Squad leader, it's time for dinner, may I treat you to a meal? No, my mother has finished cooking and is waiting for me to go back to eat. Lin Chuhan refused without thinking. Okay, then let's part here. Wang Tang smiled, but didn't care. Well, goodbye, Lin Chuhan said. Wang Tang waved his hand, got in the car and drove away. On the way, Wang Tang called the landlord and said that he would go there now. 10 minutes later, College Town. It was still the landlord on the side of the big road, with the appearance of a burly guy, riding a small electric donkey, with a beautiful woman behind him. That appearance is simply an outburst. It's still the big guy who picks his feet, but there is an extra beautiful woman hugging his waist. Wang Tang almost didn't dare to recognize him. The sports car stopped by the side of the road, and Wang Tang got off. Brother Wang, here it is. The landlord beckoned to him. Only then did Wang Tang walk over, and said meaningfully, Brother, I haven't seen you all afternoon, so I almost didn't recognize him. Of course the landlord knew what he meant. He laughed and said, low-key, low-key. The beautiful woman behind him rolled her eyes, reached out and pinched the fat waist. Oh my mother, this voice is a bit crisp. Hiss. The big man gasped. Your young master Wang, who is the leader of the Kitian orphanage, I heard Lao Wang mentioned you. The beauty said to Wang Tang. Quote. Wang Tang. Seeing Wang Tang's depressed face, the landlord laughed loudly. Okay, don't mention this, the name is really unbearable for ordinary people. It's all young people's fault. Wang Tang said helplessly. How old are you? The beauty covered her mouth and smiled. Let me introduce you to my wife, you can call her Miss Han. The landlord said. Sister Han. Wang Tang called out, and said, my name is Wang Tang, you can call me by my name. You and Lao Wang are still in the same family. Sister Han laughed. By the way, my brother's surname is also Wang. I don't know your name yet. Wang Tang also felt some fate and asked with a smile. Don't mention the name, I'll call you Brother Wang. If you don't mind, just call me Brother Wang. When his name was mentioned, Dapao Wang looked disgusted. Wang Tang didn't delve into it, nodded and asked, are you guys going out to play? That's right, this ghost hasn't taken me out for a long time, and I'm only willing to come out with me today. Sister Han said resentfully. Brother Wang, this is your fault. Sister Han is so beautiful, how can she be bored at home all the time? Wang Tang laughed. Did you hear that? Learn from Xiao Tang's awareness. Sister Han said while pinching Wang Dapao's ear. Wang Dapao bared his teeth in pain, and stared at Wang Tang resentfully. Then I won't bother you, Brother Wang, go quickly. Wang Tang pushed Wang Dapao unceremoniously. At the same time, in the office building of Jixing Martial Arts, a girl in her 20s hurried to the owner's office, holding a data sheet in her hand. Xiao Min is a staff member of the Polestar Martial Arts School. Today, when she was doing statistics on martial artists, a piece of data caught her attention. At the door of the owner's office, Xiao Min adjusted her breath from the brisk walk, and then knocked on the door. Boom boom boom. Come in. A calm voice came out of the office. Xiao Min pushed the door open and walked in. Is there a problem? The owner of the museum is a man in his 30s, with short hair like steel thorns, the roots stand upright, his face is serious, and he has a sense of sternness. Facing the owner, the staff of Jixing Martial Arts would be a little timid, and Xiao Min was no exception. At this time, he mustered up his courage before he dared to step forward and put the data sheet on the owner's desk. Master, there are some problems with this data report, I think you should read it. Oh, Fu Tiandao raised his eyebrows, stopped what he was doing, and looked at the data report. He picked up the report, leaned back in his chair, and scanned it twice. In less than a month, from an ordinary person to a high-level warrior. It's interesting. Fu Tiandao smiled inexplicably. Xiao Min was about to say what, when he heard Fu Tiandao say again. You go down, this data report will be placed with me first, and besides, don't tell anyone about the contents inside. Yes, Xiao Min didn't dare to ask more questions, so she answered quickly. After Wang Tang took the key from the landlord, he put the crow eggs in the bedroom of the room, opened the incubator and incubated them slowly. Then drive home for dinner. After dinner, go to Jixing Martial Arts Hall to pick up attributes as usual. For the next 2 days, Wang Tang's life was uneventful and every day was very regular. Go to school during the day, brush up the 5-year martial arts examination and 3-year simulation, and don't want to go to class, so go to the small woods to practice the original force technique. This improved his proficiency in origin force and exercises. In the evening, I went to Jixing Martial Arts Hall to pick up attributes, improve basic combat skills, and improve combat power. In addition, he did not forget the 2 main offensive force combat skills of Fire Lin Sword Technique and Phantom Ice Fist. Through experimentation, Wang Tang found that if he practiced about 10 times, his attributes could be improved by 1 point. And with the improvement of comprehension, the speed of cultivation is faintly accelerated. This made him even more eager for the savvy attribute. In addition, Wang Tang also tested the defensive power of the Earth Element Shield. If it is fully used, the Earth Yuan Shield can probably block 80% of his bombardment power. This is already quite good. You must know that his current combat power has reached 201, which means that even if a 1-star warrior level warrior hits with all his strength, the Earth Element Shield can at least offset 1/3 to half of the opponent's strength. Just like this, a life can be saved at an important moment. And as long as the original force of the Earth Element is sufficient, the defense of the Earth Element Shield can be improved. Perception, 90. Spirit, 22.8. Talent. Elementary Fire Talent 11/300, Elementary Ice Talent 13/300, Elementary Earth Talent 12/300, Vision Elementary 1.110. Original Force 64/100, Fire 1-star Trooper Level 8/100, Ice 1-star Trooper Level 7/100, Earth 1-star Trooper Level. Cultivation Method Qianju 21/100 for entry, Xuanbingju 12/100 for entry, Wangtu Gong 2 Yuan Shield 15/100 for entry. Combat Skills. Basic Combat Skills: Fist, Sword, Knife, Subtlety. Basic Stick Technique Beginner, Spear Technique Minor Success, Fire Lin Sword Technique Beginner 43/100, Phantom Ice Fist Beginner 13/100. Knowledge. Basic Subjects, Full Marks, 5-year Martial Arts Exam and 3-year Simulation, 80 points. Comprehensive Combat Power, 201. Blank Attribute, 0. Looking at the data changes on the property panel, Wang Tang nodded in satisfaction. Progress visible to the naked eye is always easy to satisfy. In addition to practicing, Wang Tang has also been wary of the team that the Earth Warrior mentioned these days. The 3 warriors who died should be just a few of a team of warriors. Their disappearance will definitely attract the attention of others. I just hope those people can't find him. When the time came to Friday, the Master Lu flagship store where Wang Tang customized the Tibetan military box finally responded. My dear, your little box is ready, *********. Quote. God, what a little box. Can you still talk properly? The joy that had just risen in Wang Tang's heart suddenly turned into complaints that had nowhere to put it. The other party then sent a picture. Hidden military box JPG. The appearance is a little different from what I saw last time. The whole body of the Tibetan military box has become jet black, and there are more silver runes on the surface, which looks full of mystery. It's a bit eye-catching. Is the other party a rune master? Wang Tang couldn't help guessing, then said. You also added runes. Yes dear, just relying on mechanisms is too outdated, so I added a rune. As long as it is activated, the weapon you need will pop out with a swoosh. It is very useful. That's right, I'm afraid the price will be a little higher, right? It doesn't matter what the price is. If I can sell this weapon box, it will definitely make my grandfather smile. It doesn't matter if I bother. What a nice guy. Well, a filial good man. Wang Tang sent a good person card in the air. Okay, I will pay and place an order now, and you will ship it to me immediately. Okay, dear. Convex Sao Pan Sao. Wang Tang found out that the guy on the other side likes to use emoticons very much. I'm afraid he didn't graduate from the Chinese Expression Pack Academy. If not, then the Zonghua Emoji Academy must owe him a graduation certificate. It's better to call it a nickname in the future, Emoji Maniac. Without someone's consent, Wang Tang secretly gave him a loud and nice nickname. Taobao has changed the price of the Tibetan military box 100,000. Wang Tang clicked in and was about to pay and place an order. A prompt box suddenly popped up. Sorry, you haven't entered your warrior ID number, so you can't place an order. Quote. What the hell? What is the warrior ID number? Do you need a warrior ID number to buy something on Taobao? How no one told me? Wang Tang looked confused and asked the other party quickly. What warrior ID number do you need to buy things in your store? Yes, dear. Any questions? What is the military ID number? Wang Tang asked after a moment of silence. The warrior's ID number is the number on the warrior's ID, dear. Quote. This explanation is very powerful. Saying it is the same as not saying it. Where are you going to get a martial artist certificate? Wang Tang had to ask patiently. The guy on the other side was probably a little careless. Dear one who can go to the Martial Arts Association for research, don't you have one? Dear, hollow circle D, hash. What are you kissing? Wang Tang couldn't help but protrude a hash mark on his head. Chatting with this guy would definitely cause a myocardial infarction. Why does your store still need a warrior ID number? Because this store is a high-end flagship store, dear. All products are only for warriors, so you need a warrior ID number as proof, which is included in the store entry instructions. Don't you see it, dear? O_O. Wang Tang quickly turned to the front to have a look. but after staring for a long time, he found the so-called instructions for entering the store in a corner. At %, he suddenly wanted to swear. You hide this small line of text in a product description with hundreds or thousands of words, who can see it? Can you ship it first, and I'll add the warrior's ID number later? Wang Tang asked. Impossible, dear. Why? Because warriors must pass the test before they can use rune weapons. Anything else? Yes, hurry up and get verified, dear. As long as your identity is clean and you have no criminal record, there will be no problems. The whole process takes less than half an hour, so it's very fast. Is that so? Wang Tang nodded thoughtfully. Martial arts examiner certificate must also be clean, no criminal record. It seems that the rules for warriors are also very strict. But why do the warriors I met always kill when they say they kill? No, I killed someone. Do I have a criminal record? If no one finds out, it shouldn't be counted. Wang Tang replied, comforting himself. Then I'll go check it out first. Okay, after you have completed the certificate, I can deliver the goods today, and my dear will probably receive the baby's hollow down pointing triangle in the evening. I can receive it tonight, so fast. What kind of express delivery are you doing? Wang Tang said in surprise. You'll know when the time comes. Looks like I have to skip class again. It was morning, and I had just had 2 classes, but things happened again. Wang Tang felt a little helpless, and said to Lin Chuhan next to him, squad leader. Lin Chuhan was distracted, and originally wanted to ask Wang Tang for help, but after thinking about it, she couldn't say it. Suddenly she heard Wang Tang calling herself, which startled her a lot. What? Lin Chuhan almost jumped up from his seat, and turned to look at Wang Tang nervously, thinking that he had seen something. Wang Tang was stunned for a moment. Didn't I just call you? As for such a big reaction. He had black lines all over his head, speechless. I have something to go out later, you know, she said and winked at Lin Chuhan. Lin Chuhan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It turned out that I didn't see what I was thinking in my heart, I was scared to death. Wait, you want to skip class again? The college entrance examination is coming soon, do you have any sense of urgency? Don't worry, I never do anything I'm not sure about. Let's go. Wang Tang waved his hand and walked out of the classroom. Lin Chuhan was taken aback for a moment, taking such a big breath. Can you do it? Don't you just brag. The Martial Arts Association is an official organization established by countries all over the world to conduct unified management of martial artists. After every martial artist is registered and verified by the Martial Arts Association, his identity is considered legal, and he can obtain some privileges that ordinary people do not have. For example, warriors can kill people. Of course, the killing mentioned here is not random killing, there must be a legitimate reason, otherwise it will be punished by law. For example, warriors can hold rune weapons. Ordinary people are not allowed to carry weapons on public transportation such as high-speed trains and airplanes, but warriors are legal as long as they show their warrior certificates. There are other kinds, so I won't mention them one by one. Wang Tang found these contents on the internet, and only then did he know how important a warrior certificate is to a warrior. At least in many things will become very convenient. Of course, taking a warrior certificate also means being indirectly under the jurisdiction of the country, and blatant violations are impossible to happen. This is also a kind of protection for ordinary people. Heroes use martial arts to break the ban. It's not just talk. When a person has strong force, he will act unscrupulously and be difficult to restrain. In the early days of the martial arts era, there were many riots. Only later, under the strong suppression of the country, dispatched a large number of warriors. Those who think they are invincible know that the country is still our country, and it is not easy to be presumptuous. It can be seen from this that the Martial Arts Association is indeed indispensable. East China Sea Martial Arts Association. Wang Tang stood at the gate, looking at the tall building in front of him, a little amazed. This is a high-rise building like an octagonal spire, with a distinctive appearance and very recognizable. Across the distance, among the many surrounding buildings, the first thing you see must be this octagonal building. At this time, people came and went in front of the building, and many people came in and out. Wang Tang glanced at them, and there was a faint aura about these people. Most of these people are warriors. He was startled and secretly said firmly, Seeing so many warriors for the first time, Wang Tang was also a little nervous. After taking a deep breath and exhaling it, he walked towards the building. When Wang Tang stepped into the building, pairs of eyes scanned him, and they fell on him in surprise, looking at him. However, they couldn't see Wang Tang's appearance, because he was wearing a bumpy mask. The eyes of the crowd were a little strange, and there were not many people who came to the Martial Arts Association for research wearing masks. After all, everyone has secrets, and some people don't want to expose themselves. But it's the first time I've seen someone so weird wearing a bump man mask. I'm afraid this person is not here to be funny. Fortunately, they know that no one dares to seek trouble from the Martial Arts Association. And the breath specially released from Wang Tang's body confirmed, it is a warrior. So no matter how weird it is, no one will come up to find trouble if they are idle. Hello, I'm here to take the martial arts certificate. Wang Tang came to the front desk and said to a staff member in front of him. The staff member looked up and saw a bumpy face, not to mention how weird it was. She suppressed her smile and nodded seriously. Okay, please follow me. Under her guidance, Wang Tang came outside a room. Go in and operate the machine according to the instructions on the wall. If there is no problem, the system will record your identity, and your martial arts certificate will be generated in less than 10 minutes. The staff member stretched out his hand and explained. Wang Tang nodded. After entering the room, the staff closed the door. He glanced at it and saw a machine placed by the wall, which looked a bit like a bank's teller machine. A sense of familiarity arises spontaneously. And right next to the counter machine, there is a machine that looks like a sleeping cabin in a sci-fi movie. Wang Tang had used a physical fitness tester in Jixing Dojo, and this machine seemed to be much more complicated than the physical fitness tester in the dojo. But he knew that this was also a physique tester, but it was specially used to test the physique of warriors. The physique of a warrior has changed a lot compared to that of a warrior, so it is much more complicated. The cost of this machine is at least tens of millions, which is more than 10 times more expensive than the warrior's physique detector. Wang Tang took off the bump man mask. According to the process, first come to the counter machine and put the ID card in the induction area. Please enter your fingerprints and pupil membranes. Hearing the prompt, Wang Tang put his 10 fingers on the 2 palm patterns in front of him, and at the same time focused his eyes on the camera directly in front of him. Fingerprint entry. Drip. The pupil membrane scan is complete. Identity verification. About 3 minutes later, the beep sounded again. Identity confirmation. Wang Tang, 17 years old, Chinese citizen, no criminal record, clean identity, complies with Article 108 Warrior Regulations, verification passed. Please enter the physique tester to test your physique. Even though he knew that there was no problem with his identity, Wang Tang was still a little nervous. He was slightly relieved when he heard the notification sound of passing. Then step into the physical fitness detector. The hatch closed slowly, and his whole body was scanned and tested. I don't know if it was an illusion, but Wang Tang always felt that a pair of invisible hands touched him from head to toe. At the same time, I also felt the pronucleus vibrate slightly, and the original force inside was stimulated, a little restless. The inspection ended soon, and the reminder sounded. The detection is complete. Wang Tang, congratulations on becoming a warrior. The warrior certificate is being generated, please wait patiently for a moment. At the same time, at the gate of the Martial Artists Association building, a black car slowly stopped, and a man with hair like steel thorns stepped down. It was Fu Tiandao, the master of Jixing Martial Arts Gym. A middle-aged man with a refined temperament came up to him and said with a smile, "Old Fu, you are really hard to invite. I have invited you several times, and I only agreed to come this time. Everything in the martial arts hall is busy, and I can't get away from it." Fu Tiandao said succinctly. "You." The elegant man felt a little helpless, and nodded his finger at him. "Didn't you say that you have prepared the best jade dragon tea from another world? Hurry up and lead the way," Fu Tiandao said while looking sideways at the refined man. "Let's go, I've been ready for a long time, and I'm just waiting for you to come." The elegant man laughed, stretched out his hand to pretense, and headed towards the insider of the building first. As soon as the two left, the surrounding crowd exploded. "That's Fu Tiandao, the owner of the Donghai branch of Jixing Martial Arts School, right?" Seeing is better than hearing 100 times, the aura is really strong. Needless to say, what kind of strength is he, to be able to represent Jixing Martial Arts Academy in the important city of East China Sea, which shows his strength. Who is that other elegant man? He actually invited Fu Tiandao. Idiot, that's President Qin Hanshuan Qin, the president of the Donghai branch of the Martial Arts Association. I'll go. I really don't know Mount Tai, I don't even recognize the real person in person. This is also a big boss. Discussions were endless. Fu Tiandao and the two walked for a long time, and everyone was still discussing their deeds with relish. Although the deeds of the two have long been known as the iconic figures of the East China Sea, the pursuit of them by the people of the East China Sea has never diminished. While talking, Fu Tiandao and Qin Hanshuan took the elevator to the top floor of the building and came to Qin Hanshuan's office. As soon as you walk into the office, you will see a whole wall of floor-to-ceiling windows located directly in front of the gate. From here, you can overlook the entire East China Sea, and you have the feeling of seeing all the mountains and small mountains at a glance. There is a coffee table by the floor-to-ceiling windows. Sit, Qin Hanshuan said casually. Your place is not bad. Fu Tiandao walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking the busy traffic below, and said calmly. Qin Hanshuan sat down, making tea in a natural and comfortable manner, and the faint fragrance of tea wafted. He said, "Oh, it's so cold at the top. I work here every day, it really doesn't feel good." Pretentious. Fu Tiandao sneered. You man, a dog can't spit out ivory, drink tea, drink tea. Qin Hanshuan was very helpless, and poured him tea. Fu Tiandao sat down, took a sip from the teacup, opened his closed eyes and said, "It really is good tea. It goes without saying that I gave up my old face for this tea, so I got it from the governor." Qin Hanshuan said proudly. How is Governor Zhang? Fu Tiandao raised his eyebrows and asked. The last time we met, Governor Zhang was preparing to attack the general class. Qin Hanshuan looked solemn. Oh, are you sure? Fu Tiandao asked hastily, his face shaking. According to what he said, at least 60% sure. Qin Hanshuan said. 60%, it's a little low. Why don't you wait any longer? Fu Tiandao took a breath and frowned. I heard that Governor Li of Golden Scale has entered the rank of warrior half a month ago. Qin Hanshuan suddenly released a depth charge. What? Seriously? Fu Tiandao stood up abruptly. Sit down, of course it's true, how could I be aimless? Qin Hanshuan rolled his eyes and said. We have another general, congratulations to Hua Sha. Fu Tiandao's eyes lit up. Congratulations. Qin Hanshuan nodded. It's just that Governor Zhang is too impulsive, how can he be so impulsive? Fu Tiandao returned to the topic, seeming a little worried. It's not like you don't know, those two have been rivals since college and have been fighting for a lifetime, how can Governor Zhang swallow this breath? Qin Hanshuan said with a wry smile. That's true. Fu Tiandao was also helpless. I just hope that Governor Zhang can pass this test smoothly. By then, I will have one more general in the East China Sea. Chapter 51. When Fu Tiandao and Qin Hanshuan were chatting, there was a sound from the computer in the office. What's going on? Fu Tiandao looked at Qin Hanshuan. I'll go take a look. Qin Hanshuan got up and walked to the computer desk, and saw a piece of information popped up from the computer. His eyes swept away, and he couldn't help being surprised. Old Fu, come and have a look. He yelled at Fu Tiandao over there. Fu Tiandao got up and walked over. 17 years old, I became a warrior. Seeing the information on the computer, Fu Tiandao was also a little surprised. And when he saw Wang Tang's name, he frowned slightly. Wang Tang, this name is a bit familiar. Why, you know him? Qin Hanshuan asked in surprise. Fu Tiandao thought for a while, then suddenly said, I remembered, the people below handed over a data report a few days ago. If it wasn't with the same name and surname, I think that data report should belong to him. Turn on the monitor and see if it's the same person. Qin Hanshuan operated the computer, and immediately the situation in Wang Tang's room was projected on the opposite wall. That's right, it's him, just like in the photo. Fu Tiandao recognized Wang Tang immediately. By the way, what data did you just say? Qin Hanshuan asked. The data shows that this kid has been promoted from an ordinary person to a high-level martial artist within less than a month after entering our martial arts school. Fu Tiandao said. Haha, this Wang Tang must have started training before he came to your martial arts hall. Look at his information, the third generation of the Donghai Wang family, the family should have enough resources for him to practice martial arts. Qin Hanshuan laughed. I thought so too. I wanted to observe and observe again, but I didn't expect that he has become a warrior. It seems that he is indeed a genius. Fu Tiandao said in amazement. 17-year-old warriors are rare. It seems that a big black horse will emerge in this martial arts test. Qin Hanshuan laughed. Go and see when the time comes. Although Fu Tiandao maintained a calm appearance, he was still quite concerned about it. Okay, let's go together. Wang Tang didn't know that he had just become a martial artist, and he had gained the attention of the two big bosses. It was really terrifying. 10 minutes later, the martial artist certificate was created. Looking at the small black notebook in his hand, Wang Tang couldn't help but smile. Wearing the bump man mask, he left the Budo Association. When he returned to school, the last class in the morning was not over yet, and everyone was in class, so Wang Tang didn't bother the teacher. When you come to the grove, go to Taobao, enter the warrior ID number, pay and place an order. This Master Lu is also awesome. He doesn't have a warrior ID number, and he doesn't even place an order. Forget it, judging by the tone of the other party, it is estimated that the money is not bad. After placing the order, Wang Tang sent a message urging, the order has been placed, hurry up and ship it. Okay, dear Epsilon equals Omicron ***. The other side replied immediately. Soon after class, Wang Tang and Xu Jia met up and came to the cafeteria for dinner. They met Li Rongcheng and Yuan Zhenghua, who hadn't seen each other for a few days. When Li Rongcheng saw Wang Tang, his expression was not very good looking. Especially after that day, Zhou Beiyun actually asked him about Wang Tang. Originally, Zhou Beiyun attached great importance to him, and Li Rongcheng also thought that he had a chance to win the heart of the third lady of the Zhou family, marry Bai Fumei in the future, and reach the pinnacle of life. The Zhou family will definitely be a great help to him. At that time, Li Rongcheng will also be a prominent figure in Donghai, not just a rich second generation who relies on his father. But Wang Tang, it was Wang Tang again. The appearance of this guy took away the limelight that should belong to him, and even Zhou Beiyun became interested in Wang Tang. Hateful. Li Rongcheng was secretly annoyed. Li Xiao, come to eat too. Wang Tang greeted Li Rongcheng casually when he saw Li Rongcheng. HMPH. Li Rongcheng snorted coldly, and walked away. What's going on? How did I provoke him again? Wang Tang asked Xu Jia beside him with a puzzled expression on his face. Who knows? Xu Jia shrugged. During the lunch break, Wang Tang practiced in the grove, and only returned to the class when it was time for class. Anyway, it's also the last day of this week, so I should give the teacher some face. The 3 classes are over soon. After school, Wang Tang got up to go home, but was stopped by Lin Chuhan. You, wait for me. She bit her lower lip, looking a little embarrassed, but finally summoned up her courage and shouted. Wang Tang had already seen that she was a little absent-minded, and when she saw her calling him to stop, he stopped to see what she wanted to say. After Lin Chuhan packed her school bag, she walked out of the classroom with Wang Tang. The two walked to a place where no one was there. Lin Chuhan fell into hesitation again. His expression kept changing, sometimes helpless, sometimes decisive. Just tell me if you have any difficulties, Wang Tang said softly. Maybe it was Wang Tang's gentle attitude that convinced Lin Chuhan. She took a deep breath, and then said, Can you lend me some money? After saying this, she seemed to be discouraged, and a trace of helplessness and bitterness flashed in her heart. How much to borrow? Wang Tang looked at her, and suddenly felt a faint touch in his heart. It's not easy for this girl. He believed that Lin Chuhan must have come to him to borrow money when she had no other choice, otherwise, with her self-esteem, she wouldn't even be able to say such words. 150,000. Lin Chuhan was a little embarrassed to say, and hurriedly said, I know it's a lot, but I will definitely return the money to you as soon as possible. After the college entrance examination, I will go to work. As soon as I have money, I will. Wang Tang couldn't help being a little surprised. It's not because of anything, but because he was a little confused about why Lin Chuhan needed so much money. But he didn't ask much, took out his mobile phone and said directly, "Give me your Alipay account number, and I will transfer it to you now." Quote. "I'll give it back to you." Lin Chuhan hadn't finished speaking yet. When she heard Wang Teng's words, she suddenly raised her head, her eyes suddenly turned red, she took a breath, calmed herself down, and said with a forced smile, "Thank you. I'll give it back to you soon." She emphasized this sentence again. It seemed that only in this way could she retain the residual self-esteem in her heart. "Don't worry, do what you can." Wang Teng nodded, scanned her Alipay account, and transferred the money directly. There are many differences in this world. For example, Alipay can support large transfers without restrictions. Lin Chuhan thanked her again, holding the phone tightly. The 150,000 yuan made her feel extremely heavy in her hand. When their family saved the most, they didn't have so much money. For a family like Wang Tang, 100 or 200,000 may be just pocket money, but for many ordinary families, it may not be possible to save so much money for several years. I don't know what kind of difficulty she encountered. Wang Teng looked at Lin Chuhan's leaving back, thought for a while, but was still a little worried, so he quietly followed. Wang Teng followed Lin Chuhan all the way and found that she just went home. From a distance, she saw her enter the house and was about to leave when she suddenly saw a group of people approaching. Leading the charge was a bald man in a black suit, followed by 5 or 6 youths who looked like gangsters. Wang Teng stopped immediately, lit a cigarette, and stood by the side of the road to smoke. "What are you looking at, little brat?" The bald man in a black suit cursed viciously when he saw Wang Teng staring at them blankly. Wang Teng turned his head away without saying anything. The man in the black suit and bald head didn't bother, but walked into Lin Chuhan's house cursing. Lin Chuhan's house is a 3-story private house, which looks very old. The first floor is used as a storefront, and there is a small grocery store. In a black suit and bald head, he walked into Lin Chuhan's grocery store, took a bottle of Coke and took a long gulp. A middle-aged woman in the store should be Lin Chuhan's mother. She stood beside her with a panicked expression and dared not say a word. After belching, the black suit turned his head to look at the middle-aged woman and said, "How is it? Are you ready for the money?" "Boss, my family has gone to borrow money from relatives and friends, please allow a few more days." The middle-aged woman begged. "A few days of grace? I have given you 3 days of grace, isn't that enough?" "Huh." With a bald head in a black suit and staring eyes, he kicked over a box of candies next to him, and the candies in that box flew all over the place and scattered all over the floor. "I think you just don't want to pay back the money." "Boss, it's not that we don't want to pay back, it's just that the money hasn't been collected yet, so please allow another 2 or 3 days, please." The middle-aged woman shrank aside in fright and said with red eyes, "Stop talking nonsense, if you don't have any money today, I'll smash your shop." The black suit and bald head didn't seem to let go. "This can't be helped, our family depends on this grocery store for a living, and my daughter is going to take the college entrance examination. You smashed the store, how can we survive?" The middle-aged woman was so anxious that she burst into tears. "Who the hell cares how you live? It looks like you haven't paid any money today. Think of me as a philanthropist, screw me." With a black suit and a bald head, he sat down on a chair with a big horse and a big sword, and with a big wave of his hand, his subordinates were about to smash the store. "Wait," a voice came down from upstairs. Lin Chuhan ran down the stairs. She had just returned home and went to the toilet. When she came out, she heard noises from downstairs, and hurried downstairs. Sure enough, these people came to the door again. "Yo!" When he saw Lin Chuhan with a bald head in a black suit, his eyes lit up. "How did you get down?" The middle-aged woman immediately became anxious, and quickly blocked Lin Chuhan behind her. She shaved her head in a black suit and said, "Boss, my daughter is still young, and this matter has nothing to do with her. Don't be as knowledgeable as him. I can't take it too seriously." The bald man in the black suit stood up. His eyes fell on Lin Chuhan, with malicious intentions. Without showing any weakness, Lin Chuhan stood up from behind the middle-aged woman and said, "Our family owes you 150,000 yuan, right? I'll pay you back right now. Get out of my house immediately after you take the money." "Ha, your tone is not small, you can have 150,000. The black suit and bald head smiled contemptuously. "You girl, Where did we get so much money? Lin Chuhan's mother frowned, thinking she was messing around, and wanted to pull her back. The eyes of Lin Chuhan's mother in black suit and bald head are very clear. These people are not good people, and her daughter is just a high school student. It is impossible to fight against them. Lin Chuhan was unmoved. You take out the IOU and return it to us, and I will transfer the money to you now. Could this little girl really get money? She looks so pretty, maybe someone actually pays for her. The black suit and bald head muttered to himself. Looking at Lin Chuhan's beautiful face full of youthful vigor, his heart was burning, and he immediately had an idea and sneered. Okay, as long as you pay back the money, we'll leave right away, but 150,000 was 3 days ago, now that 3 days have passed, let me do the math, you owe me 200,000. How about it, little sister, do you have 200,000? 200,000. It's only been 3 days, how could it have risen to 200,000? Lin Chuhan's mother turned pale, and she didn't know whether it was from anger or fright. You are shameless. Lin Chuhan trembled angrily. Originally, their family only borrowed 100,000 yuan, but later it was said that the interest for 3 months would be 50,000 yuan. Their family couldn't afford it, so they had no choice but to accept their fate and borrow money everywhere to raise money. But in recent years, all relatives and friends who could borrow have borrowed, and they all know the situation of Lin Chuhan's family. Lin Chuhan's father was paralyzed in bed, unable to work, and there was a younger sister who had a strange disease at home. Only Lin's mother opened a grocery store to support the family. Borrowing money from their family is like filling a bottomless pit. You may be able to repay the small amount, but no one dares to borrow the larger amount. Before, Lin Chuhan finally put down his self-esteem and borrowed 150,000 yuan from Wang Tang, thinking that he would be able to fill up the bad debt. I didn't expect the other party to be so shameless, and now he said that he would add another 50,000 in 3 days. Little sister, don't talk nonsense, I am such a decent person, how can I be considered shameless? Said indifferently with a bald head in a black suit. You guys are illegal, I can sue you. Lin Chuhan gritted his teeth. Then you go and sue. I didn't stop it, but it's hard to say whether your store can continue to open in the future. The bald head in the black suit sneered. You. Lin Chuhan pointed at him, speechless in anger. So you guys are still not on it. It's going to be difficult. How about this? I still lack a girlfriend. If you are willing to be my woman, I don't even want you to pay back the money. The black suit, the bald head laughed. Impossible. Don't even think about it. Even if my store can't continue, you don't even think about touching my daughter. Mother Lin protected Lin Chuhan behind her, glaring at her like a tigress whose hair has exploded. Black suit bald. Lin Chuhan's face was ugly, and there was a trace of panic in her eyes. She didn't expect the other party to dare to pay such attention. She still underestimated the danger of people's hearts. Then you'll blame me for being rude. The bald man in the black suit grinned ferociously, but before he could finish speaking, a voice came from behind. Why do you want to be rude? The bald man in the black suit turned his head and looked. Boy, it's you. Wang Tang. Lin Chuhan also saw the person coming, and for some reason seemed to find a little support in his heart. Hee, we still know each other. The bald man in the black suit squinted his eyes and looked at Wang Tang. Why, do you want a hero to save the beauty? A hero saves the beauty. It doesn't count, Wang Tang said after thinking about it. Ha ha ha, look at how cowardly he is. The bald man in the black suit suddenly laughed. His younger brothers also followed suit with ridicule and ridicule. I'm just here to kill a few flies, Wang Tang said lightly. The bald-headed face in the black suit suddenly became extremely ugly. He was actually underestimated. The calm look on this kid's face stung him. You're looking for death. He said every word. Well, how do you find death? Wang Tang asked with his head tilted. Black suit and bald head. A group of younger brothers. Seeing the expressions of the bald heads in black suits as if they were eating shit, Lin Chuhan suppressed a smile with a sullen face. Mother Lin thinks the child is a bit skinny. I don't know whose family it is. The bald man in the black suit was furious, pointed at Wang Tang and shouted, hit me to death. A group of younger brothers rushed towards Wang Tang, and some of them even took out blades from their pockets. Wang Tang retreated outside the grocery store. Those people chased out and surrounded Wang Tang, but unfortunately they were all ordinary people. Not to mention that Wang Tang is a warrior now. Even if he is a warrior, he can easily deal with these weak chickens. He threw out a punch, hitting 2 punks in a row, knocking them down to the ground, knocking out a few teeth in his mouth. Power 1. Power 1. Spirit 0.1. Hey, ordinary people also lose attributes, and they actually have spiritual attributes. Wang Tang was a little surprised. Watch out. Lin Chuhan chased her out to help. She was an intermediate martial artist, and she was more than enough to deal with punks. However, Wang Tang didn't give her a chance to make a move. He whipped his leg hard and then swept. The 3 gangsters who were holding blades and slashed towards his waist were kicked 3 meters away. They clutched their chests, and there was blood oozing from the corners of their mouths. Although Wang Tang withdrew his strength, the strength of his kick still overwhelmed the punks. Power 1. Power 1. Power 1. You turned out to be a warrior. The bald man in the black suit changed his expression, never expecting that his subordinates could not even move away from Wang Tang's hands. Boy, you forced me to take action. The bald man in the black suit took off his jacket and walked across to Wang Tang. Then I won't force you, you don't have to. Wang Tang said. The bald head in a black suit was dumbfounded by what he said, and he quickly shook his head, throwing away excess thoughts, and cursed, "Don't play tricks on me." He circled around Wang Tang, as if trying to find out Wang Tang's flaws. Wang Tang stood there waiting for him to make a move, but after circling around twice with his bald head in a black suit, he suddenly turned around and ran away. Ran. Yes, he ran away. Leaving a few of his subordinates behind, he ran away without looking back. Wang Tang paused for a moment to show his respect. Lin Chuhan and Lin's mother were also stunned. The bald-headed subordinate in a black suit looked at his boss running like a happy fat pig, and suddenly didn't know what his expression was. Boy, this matter is not over, let's wait and see. When the bald man in a black suit ran to the corner of the road, he seemed to feel that he was safe, so he stopped and turned around and shouted. Wang Tang shook his head, glanced at the ground, and picked up a brick. The bald man in the black suit turned his head and ran away in fright. Wang Tang weighed the brick, took aim, and smashed the brick out. Bew! Ah! The bald man in the black suit screamed. Spirit 0.1. Is it really necessary to pat the head? Wang Tang was thoughtful when he saw the spiritual attribute that had just dropped. I don't know why, but the younger brothers felt a little refreshed when they saw this scene. Wang Tang walked up slowly, squatted down and looked at the bald head in the black suit. So, don't talk nonsense while running. The bald man in the black suit covered his head, feeling dizzy in front of his eyes, and after a while, he raised his head. He stared at Wang Tang fiercely. You are finished, boy, you are finished. Our Black Loan Company also has warriors, and they are still senior, and there are several of them. You just wait to die. Hee, it's quite fierce. Wang Tang smiled, raised the brick and threw it down again on the bald face in the black suit. Click, puff. The nose of the bald man in the black suit collapsed, and blood spurted out, causing him to scream in pain. Spirit 0.1. Wang Tang's eyes lit up immediately. I don't know if it's over, but you're definitely going to be over. As he spoke, he lifted up the bricks under the terrified eyes of the other party, and smashed them down one by one. The bald head in a black suit was very tough at first, with super fierce eyes, staring at Wang Tang like a wolf. But now he is afraid. Don't look at the smiling young man in front of him who looks like a high school student. His face is very calm, but when he moves his hands, it is really frightening. Squeeze, hold back, vomit, rub, don't dare to vomit anymore, let's vomit. With a bald head in a black suit, a bruised nose, a swollen face, and a slurred speech, nothing but fear remained in his heart. Too cruel. It's so cruel. Hiss, it hurts. I didn't want to hit you at first, but I saw that you were not very convinced, so I reluctantly hit you. Wang Tang stopped and said. It's not that he doesn't want to fight, but that after losing his spirit attribute again, he can't lose it no matter how hard he fights. What a pity. Accumulation. Spirit asterisk 0.4. Looking at the sky with a bald head in a black suit, he suddenly wanted to cry. You are so reluctant, you don't have to fight, no one is forcing you. Mom, this man must be the devil, I want to go home. So, are you convinced or not? Wang Tang asked. Who? I'm who? The bald man in the black suit nodded quickly. Wang Tang shouted again. Ah, why did you hit me again? The bald man in the black suit screamed, with a confused look on his face. You are playing mahjong, who will ask you if you are a fool? Wang Tang stared. The bald head in the black suit was so aggrieved that he almost vomited blood, and it took him a long time to choke out a word, submit. Just take it. Wang Tang nodded. Snapped. Caught off guard, the bald head in the black suit got hit again. Why? Tears rolled in his eyes, and there was nowhere to express his grievances. No reason, it's just because you're upset. Wang Tang said flatly. Quote. Black suit and bald head. Take out the IOU. The black suit and bald head honestly took out the IOU. Wang Tang called Lin Chuhan over and handed the IOU to her, see if it's right. Lin Chuhan went back to check with Lin's mother, nodded and said, that's right, it was the one my parents wrote before. Wang Tang took it over and looked at it, and said with a sneer, it's easier to borrow 100,000 and pay back 200,000 than stealing money. He knelt down and shook the brick in front of the black suit and bald head. I met 5 bank robbers before, and they wanted to kill me. Do you know what happened to them? The bald man in a black suit suddenly thought of something he heard a few days ago. Several bank robbers were killed. I heard that the murderer was a hostage, and that hostage seemed to be a high school student. The bald head in the black suit looked at Wang Tang in horror, and couldn't help shivering. Boom! Wang Tang suddenly crushed the brick in his hand, and said, look, they are like this. Brother, I know I was wrong, I was really wrong, please let me go. A black suit with a bald head suddenly wanted to cry. He just came here to collect a loan shark and tease his little sister. How did he get into trouble with such an evil star? It must be because I didn't read the almanac when I went out. Yes, it must be so. Wang Tang didn't scare him anymore, and said to Lin Chuhan, give him the money, 100,000 and 100, and the other 100 yuan will be used as interest. Do you have any opinions? The last sentence was asked by the bald man in a black suit. No, the other party shook his head quickly. How dare he have any opinions at this time? Do he still want to have his head? I heard that the heads of those robbers were directly smashed. God, it's scary. Lin Chuhan hurriedly transferred the money. Wang Tang took out the lighter and lit the IOU in front of the bald man in the black suit. It was completely burned, leaving nothing behind. The black suit left with a bald head, with a bruised nose and a swollen face, full of grievances and fear, and went back to report to the boss. He knew that the interest on this account would probably not come back. The other party is a ruthless character, the kind of ruthlessness that will smash his head when he is angry. He cannot be provoked. The boss shouldn't want to provoke such a person, right? Fortunately, the capital was recovered, and it was not without gain. It was this face that received a brick for nothing. Hiss. Pain. Alas. After dismissing the loan sharks, Lin Chuhan breathed a sigh of relief, and said to Wang Tang, just now, thank you. Nothing. Wang Tang shook his head, and when he put away the lighter, he lit a cigarette. Stop smoking, Lin Chuhan said suddenly. Smoking is harmful to health. Lin Chuhan said. I was so scared that I quickly smoked a cigarette to suppress my shock. Wang Tang said. Quote. Lin Chuhan, you're kidding. Wang Tang threw the cigarette on the ground and stamped it out. It's really not good to smoke in front of a girl. By the way, why are you here? Lin Chuhan suddenly asked suspiciously. Would you believe me when I told you that I came here to take a look? Wang Tang said with a smile. Lin Chuhan's heart skipped a beat, and she quickly turned her face to the side, feeling her ears getting hot, so she pulled her hair to cover it up. I won't tell you any more, I'll go and see my mother. Lin Chuhan ran back to the grocery store, explained to Mama Lin, and told her that the loan sharks had been dismissed and the IOU had been burned. Mother Lin hugged Lin Chuhan and wept with joy. She was going to be driven crazy by those people these days. By the way, Xiaohan, who did you borrow that money from? You tell him that although we don't have that much money now, we will definitely pay him back as soon as possible. Mother Lin wiped away her tears and said. I borrowed it from him. Lin Chuhan looked towards Wang Tang. Where did he get so much money as a young man? Mother Lin was a little surprised. His family runs a company. Lin Chuhan said. Lin's mother was stunned, and then she thought of something, and asked suspiciously, Xiaohan, you. Seeing Mama Lin's expression, Lin Chuhan immediately knew what she was thinking, stomped her feet, and said coquettishly, Mom, what are you thinking? He is my deskmate. Okay, Mom didn't think too much, Mother Lin said quickly. You girl, why don't you invite him to your home? He has helped our family so much, and Mom wants to thank him personally. Lin Chuhan was about to go over and call Wang Tang, but saw that he had already walked over slowly. My mother said that she would like to thank you personally, she said to Wang Tang. Yes, Xiao Tang, you don't mind if I call you that. Thank you so much this time, otherwise we really don't know what to do. Mother Lin said gratefully. I don't mind, Auntie, Chuhan is my deskmate, and she usually helps me a lot. I should help her if she has difficulties. Wang Tang said. Okay, Xiaohan is really lucky to have a tablemate like you. The more Lin's mother looked at Wang Tang, the more she felt pleasing to the eye. What a good child, although a little skinny. But at first glance, he is responsible, can accomplish things, speaks politely, and takes good care of Xiaohan. If there is such a son-in-law, it seems not bad. In the age of martial arts, you can get married at the age of 18, and Mother Lin feels that she can consider her daughter's lifelong affairs. I'll be having dinner at Auntie's house tonight. Mama Lin suddenly became enthusiastic. Auntie will go shopping for vegetables right away. Xiaohan, please greet Xiaodang at home. After speaking, Wang Tang and Lin Chuhan rushed out the door without giving Wang Tang and Lin Chuhan time to react. Leaving Wang Tang and Lin Chuhan looking at each other in blank dismay, the atmosphere suddenly felt strange. How about I go first? Wang Tang said. What are you going to do? My mother is already shopping for groceries. If you leave, how will I explain it when she comes back? Lin Chuhan rolled her eyes and said. Just find a reason, such as I have something urgent. Wang Tang gave some advice. Lin Chuhan looked at Wang Tang. Is this guy so unhappy? Although she also felt embarrassed, Wang Tang's reluctance made her feel a little uncomfortable. You have to explain yourself, I won't explain anyway. Lin Chuhan glared at Wang Tang. Okay, just have a meal, Wang Tang, have no fear at all. Although Wang Tang said so, it was like going to the execution ground. Seeing him like this, Lin Chuhan realized that this guy wasn't unhappy, but a little cowardly. He was usually fearless, but he forgot that he was just a normal person. Can't help but secretly laugh behind him. Standing in the store, Wang Tang didn't know what to do. When he saw the candies scattered on the floor, he went to help pick them up. Lin Chuhan also reacted, looking at Wang Tang's back, his eyes became softer, and he squatted down to pick it up. I'll transfer the rest of the money to you later, she said, thinking about the money. Okay, Wang Tang nodded. As for the 100,000 yuan, I will go to work during the summer vacation to earn money to pay you back. Lin Chuhan said. No, it's 100,000 and 100. Wang Tang laughed. Yes, 100,000 and 100, you iron cock. Lin Chuhan rolled his eyes. Ha ha ha. Wang Tang laughed indifferently. Lin Chuhan didn't realize that it was the respect hidden in the words that allowed the two of them to get along as usual, and there was no estrangement because of this incident. Not long after, Mother Lin came back from grocery shopping, with big and small bags in her hands, and bought a lot of fish. Xiao Tang, you and Chu Han go upstairs and sit for a while, and I'll cook. Mama Lin greeted her, then plunged into the kitchen and got busy. Let's go upstairs. Lin Chuhan led Wang Tang upstairs. Is Uncle not at home? Wang Tang asked. Lin Chuhan bit her lower lip and said, he's here, I'll take you to have a look. Wang Tang saw Lin Chuhan's father, a drunk man, thin and his legs were gone. Your father, how did it become like this? Wang Tang was really surprised. My dad used to be a warrior. He came back from another world once and became like this. It was not easy for his teammate to save him, but not only did he lose his legs, but even his pronucleus was shattered. A useless person, Lin Chuhan explained sadly. Although Wang Tang knew that the world of warriors was not as beautiful as rumored, he really didn't expect it to be so cruel. Looking at the shocking scars on Father Lin's body, he was a little horrified. Moreover, He never thought that Lin Chuhan's father was actually a warrior. Since you know the cruelty of the martial arts world, why do you still practice martial arts? Take the martial arts test. Wang Tang couldn't help asking her. I want revenge. Lin Chuhan closed the door and said through gritted teeth. Is it man-made? Wang Tang was surprised again. My dad's teammates said that it was their enemies who set up a trap to cause all this. Lin Chuhan said. Wang Tang suddenly remembered that in his previous life, he seemed to have heard that Lin Chuhan had a father who was paralyzed in bed, but he did not expect this to be the case in this life. It's just that in this life, Lin Chuhan's father was a martial artist, and he became like this because of being plotted against. By the way, what about your father's teammates, don't they know your family's situation? Wang Tang asked. They have helped a lot before, but they spend most of their time in another world, and sometimes they may not come back for several months. This time, they haven't been back for half a year. And half a month ago, my sister's illness suddenly broke out. My mother had no choice but to borrow the money through someone's introduction to treat my sister's illness. Lin Chuhan said. You still have a younger sister. What's wrong with you? Wang Tang realized that he knew nothing about Lin Chuhan's family. I've always had a younger sister, but you didn't know about it. Her illness, well, it would be great if I knew what the illness was. It wouldn't make us all helpless. Lin Chuhan sighed. As she spoke, she brought Wang Tang to a room and knocked on the door. Chu Sha, my sister brought a friend, can I come in? Come in, come, let's go. A faint young girl's voice came from inside. She spoke very strangely, word by word, but not spaced apart, appearing weak. If it was at night, if such a sound suddenly appeared in the dark environment, it would probably scare people to pee. Wang Tang felt a layer of goosebumps on his body. Lin Chuhan smiled dryly. Don't mind, my sister has always been like this. Open the door. Crunch. There was a harsh rubbing sound from the wooden door. The room was very dark, the curtains were all drawn tightly, and no light came in. Wang Tang's eyes swept across the room, but he didn't see half a figure. But I saw bubbles all over the place. This is. Wang Tang was stunned for a moment. The whole room is full of attribute bubbles, on the ground, on the table, on the chair, on the bed, in front of the cabinet. There are everywhere, big and small, densely packed. Wang Tang swallowed, and couldn't help but walked into the room. Don't. Lin Chuhan hurriedly stopped him, and then reminded, you should follow behind me, remember not to get too close later. Why? Wang Tang was a little puzzled. I'll tell you later, Lin Chuhan whispered. Then he walked into the room first, pointed at the corner of the bed and the wall, and said, Chu Sha, sister comes in. Wang Tang followed her gaze, and saw a girl with her head buried in her knees hugging her knees at the blind corner of the bed, with long black hair hanging down softly. Black as long and straight. I looked at Lin Chuhan, the same thing. Immediately, his attention fell on the attribute bubbles around him, and he couldn't wait any longer. What kind of bubbles are these? It was the first time he saw an ordinary person drop so many attribute bubbles, and it was completely natural, which is really unethical. Could it be related to Lin Chuhan's younger sister's strange disease? Wang Tang secretly guessed, and then lightly touched the bubbles around him. Pick up. Poison element *2. Poison element 1. Demon lotus poison 1. For a moment, Wang Tang felt a certain change in his body, and he could sense a very strange and rare force between heaven and earth. The force of poison. There is such a force. Wang Tang was very surprised. Then the original force of the poisonous element entered Wang Tang's body, but he had never practiced the original force of the poisonous element, and the original force of the poisonous element suddenly rioted and ran around in his body. Oops! Wang Tang was shocked. At this time, if someone observes his body, skin and face, they will find that it is showing a purple-red color. It's like being poisoned. But a strange force instantly calmed down the poison-type origin force, and then all of them were included in the original nucleus, forming a balance with the other three origin forces. The abnormality on the surface of Wang Tang's body receded like a tide. What's wrong with you? Lin Chuhan turned his head and asked. Oh, it's okay. Wang Tang recovered and smiled. At the same time, the girl squatting in the corner seemed to sense something, suddenly raised her head, and looked at Wang Tang suspiciously. Wang Tang also saw the girl's appearance, and his heart skipped a beat. Her facial contours were 70% similar to Lin Chuhan's, and she should have been a very good-looking girl. But both sides of her cheeks were covered with purple-red poison spots, covering almost half of her face. The poisonous spots were pitted and looked extremely disgusting, destroying all the beauty of the entire face, making it look a little hideous and terrifying, making it impossible to look directly at. Wang Tang's eyes met the girl's. Although he was startled, he didn't feel any disgust. It's just that this girl is a bit pitiful. At an average age, she can only hide in this dark room and cannot live like a normal person. Not even daring to take half a step out of the gate, Wang Tang could imagine how many blank stares and ridicules she had suffered. And the strange disease that Lin Chuhan mentioned should be the end of it. Demon Lotus Poison Body. It may be a very rare constitution, otherwise Lin Chuhan's father, as a martial artist, would have solved it long ago, and it is impossible to stay helpless until now. Even warriors can't do anything about this kind of physique, let alone modern medicine. After all, the age of martial arts and the age of science and technology are two systems. Before the emergence of martial arts, this kind of physique has never appeared. There are no cases of successful treatment in medicine. A solution that can be solved may have to be found from another world. Sister, who is he? The girl sized Wang Tang up, but she lost the feeling she had just now, and a hint of disappointment flashed in her eyes, and she asked slowly. His name is Wang Tang, and he's my sister's friend. Lin Chuhan squatted down in front of the girl, but he didn't get too close, at least 1 meter away. Wang Tang somewhat understood why Lin Chuhan didn't let him get close. Because he could feel now that the poisonous origin force was constantly oozing out of the girl's body, permeating around her. If ordinary people get too close, they will be affected. Once in contact with it for a long time, they will definitely be poisoned, and even die directly. The poisonous body of the demon lotus is so terrifying. Is he my sister, husband? The girl suddenly asked Lin Chuhan. Ga, sister, brother-in-law. Lin Chuhan was stunned, and his whole face turned red. Girl, what are you talking about? He is not your brother-in-law. Wang Tang almost burst out laughing. This girl is a godly assist. Oh, the girl tilted her head and replied noncommittally, without any change in her expression. Lin Chuhan had no choice but to get up and said to Wang Tang, this is my sister Lin Chuxia, don't take her words to heart. Why are you so nervous? Wang Tang teased. Who's nervous? Lin Chuhan felt terrified when he saw it. Wang Tang smiled, and suddenly passed Lin Chuhan and walked towards Lin Chuxia. Don't go. Lin Chuhan hurriedly tried to stop her. No problem. Wang Tang waved his hand, and before Lin Chuhan could stop him, he had already walked up to Lin Chuxia and squatted down, stretching out his hand. Hello. Lin Chuxia widened her eyes slightly, looking at Wang Tang's outstretched hand. Lin Chuhan was also taken aback by Wang Tang's sudden action. She knew best what was going on with her sister, and she would be affected even if she was within 1 meter of her, let alone direct physical contact. She wanted to stop it, but Lin Chuxia spoke first. Aren't you afraid of me? What are you afraid of? Wang Tang asked. Afraid of my face. Afraid of the air around my body. Lin Chuxia said. Do you think I seem to be affected? Wang Tang said with a smile. Lin Chuhan next to him was shocked when he heard these words, and stared at Wang Tang in disbelief. Really, if it was an ordinary person, with such a close distance, he would already feel uncomfortable and his face would turn blue. But Wang Tang still acted like nothing happened. Wang Tang, you. Probably because I often drink wolfberry water and my immunity is relatively strong. Wang Tang said seriously. Lin Chuhan, God, drinking wolfberry water has a stronger immunity, do you think I'm stupid? Can't you be more serious about such an important matter? Lin Chuxia observed for a long time, her eyes lit up, and she said, it seems that there is nothing wrong. She stretched out her hand slowly, although she still hesitated, she finally took Wang Tang's palm. The next moment, Lin Chuxia was stunned. She had an indescribable feeling that there seemed to be a cold air flow in her body that was drawn and circulated in her limbs. Just about to ask a question, Wang Tang blinked at her mysteriously. The words that came to my lips did not come out. Wang Tang smiled slightly, let go of Lin Chuxia's palm, and stood up. At the same time, it also picked up all the attribute bubbles around Lin Chuxia's body. Demon Lotus Poison 7. Poison Department Force 15. There are undoubtedly the most bubbles around her. After picking up all of them, Wang Tang felt that his Demon Lotus poison body became more complete, and there were more poison-type origin forces in his body. Lin Chuxia felt that the surrounding area was empty, and the oppressive and sticky feeling, as if wrapped in some kind of liquid, suddenly disappeared. But she didn't ask any more, just looked at Wang Tang curiously. At the same time, there is a glimmer of hope in my heart. Lin Chuhan had been paying attention to Wang Tang just now. Seeing that he was not affected even by physical contact, he was relieved and even more puzzled in his heart. Wang Tang, what's going on? Why aren't you affected by my sister's strange disease? I don't know, maybe it's because I have a stronger immune system. Wang Tang didn't tell Lin Chuhan the truth. He doesn't know how to solve Lin Chuxia's problems now, and speaking out is just to make her happy in vain. I really have an idea in the future, and it's not too late to talk about it. As for letting Lin Chuxia know something, it was to give her hope. Otherwise, let her live a hopeless life as a girl every day, and sooner or later there will be problems. Lin Chuhan looked at Wang Tang suspiciously. If you really know something, I hope you can tell me, this is too important to our family. Finally she said solemnly. Sister, don't embarrass brother-in-law. Lin Chuxia said. I already said that he is not your brother-in-law. Lin Chuhan was speechless. Don't worry, if I really have a solution, I will tell you as soon as possible. Wang Tang promised. Lin Chuhan nodded, seeing that Wang Tang really had no choice, his expression was a little sad. After a while, she cheered up again, squatted down, and said seriously to Lin Chuxia. Chu Sha, don't worry, I have signed up for the martial arts test, and I will definitely become a martial artist in the future, and help you find a cure for this strange disease. Sister, didn't mother let you practice martial arts? Lin Chuxia asked in surprise. Lin Chuhan quickly raised her index finger and put it near her mouth. Shish, keep your voice down, don't let mom know about this. Wang Tang's head was full of black lines, and he asked your sister to whisper, who was so loud just now. But he finally knew why Lin Chuhan didn't tell her mother about taking the martial arts exam. What happened to Lin Chuhan's father must have dealt a heavy blow to Lin's mother. As a mother, how could she let her daughter follow in her husband's footsteps, even if there was only a slight possibility she would kill her in the cradle? Before dinner was ready, Wang Tang and Lin Chuhan accompanied Lin Chuxia to chat in the room. Lin Chuhan was also willing to have one more person to accompany Lin Chuxia. Usually, only Mother Lin and her can accompany Lin Chuxia, the little girl is too lonely. Wang Tang picked up all the attribute bubbles in the room while chatting. Demon Lotus Poison 5. Poison Element Force 12. He called up the property panel and took a look. Perception, 90. Spirit, 26. Talent, Primary Fire Talent 11/300, Primary Ice Talent 13/300, Primary Earth Talent 12/300, Spiritual Vision Primary 1.410, Demon Lotus Poison 15/10,000. Original Force 64/100, Fire 1-star Trooper Level 8/100, Ice 1-star Trooper Level 7/100, Earth 1-star Trooper Level 30/100, Poison 1-star Trooper Level. Cultivation Method Qianju 20/100 for entry, Xuanbingju 12/100 for entry, Wangtu Gong 2 Yuan Shield 15/100 for entry. Combat Skills. Basic Combat Skills: Fist, Sword, Knife, Subtlety, Basic Stick Technique, Great Success, Spear Technique, Small Success, Fire Lin Sword Technique, Entry 43/100, Phantom Ice Fist, Entry 13/100. Knowledge. Basic Subjects, Full Marks, 5-year Martial Arts Exam and 3-year Simulation, 80 points. Comprehensive Combat Power, 218. Blank Attribute, 0. It can be seen that there is a Demon Lotus Poison body in the talent column. Wang Tang faintly feels that this physique is a bit awesome, and look at its upper limit 10,000. When will this be brushed? However, it also reflects the extraordinary and powerfulness of the Demon Lotus Poison body from the side. Besides, the original force of the poison system has reached 30 points, which is more than the original force of the ice system and the earth system. Lin Chuxia has plenty of reserves for this poisonous baby. Wang Tang couldn't help but sigh with emotion. At this time, he already had a plan for how to use the original force of the poison element in his mind. When fighting people in the future, quietly mix a little bit of poisonous force with other force, so that the opponent is poisoned before he can react. Tisk, it's perfect. It just seems to be getting farther and farther on the road of Lao Yinbi. Is my path a bit off? Wang Tang asked himself. Not long after, Mother Lin finished cooking and came up to ask a few people to eat. Seeing that Wang Tang and Lin Chuxia got along very well, he was very happy, and even made Wang Tang come to the house frequently. During the meal, there were only Mama Lin, Lin Chuhan and Wang Tang. Lin's father was so drunk that he was still unconscious. But Lin Chuxia couldn't eat with them, so Mother Lin brought the food to her room. At the dinner table, Wang Tang was made uncomfortable by Mama Lin's enthusiasm. The rice bowls in front of him were piled up like a hill, which made Wang Tang a little dumbfounded. Seeing Wang Tang's deflated appearance, Lin Chuhan secretly laughed beside him. After the meal, Wang Tang almost ran away in despair. Remember to come to Auntie's house to play often. Mother Lin sent him to the door and told him. Lin Chuhan and Wang Tang walked to the street side by side. Wang Tang's supercar was parked by the side of the road. He stopped, opened the parking door, and said to Lin Chuhan, "Go back quickly." Lin Chuhan nodded and said, "Thank you very much today." Wang Tang waved his hand and drove away. Lin Chuhan stood there, not knowing what to think, and stared blankly for a long time. After leaving Lin Chuhan's house, Wang Tang drove to Jixing Martial Arts Hall. He had called home earlier, but he just made up an excuse, and didn't dare to tell his parents that he was eating at Lin Chuhan's house. Otherwise, with the gossiping temperament of the old couple in the family, I really don't know what will happen. I can't even think about it. Not long after, we arrived at Jixing Martial Arts. Wang Tang went straight to the third floor of the martial arts training building and began to harvest attribute bubbles. After one night, plus the accumulation of the previous few days, his basic body skills, basic sword skills, and basic boxing skills have finally all been pushed to the stage of enlightenment. Now his random punch, sword or even a knife can carry a momentum attack, which has a deterrent effect in battle. Even the body technique also has a psychedelic effect, making it even more elusive. Although it is only a basic combat skill, it can also exert a good power after reaching the enlightenment. Wang Tang felt a little emotional. Now that these basic combat skills have finally reached their peak, they can no longer improve. Later, he found that the attribute bubbles related to several combat skills had never appeared again, and he had nowhere to pick them up. Farewell, I will miss you. In addition, the attributes picked up a few days ago, plus the attributes tonight, the basic stick technique has finally reached a great achievement. After that, only consummation, subtlety and enlightenment remain. At 11 o'clock in the evening, Wang Tang left Jixing Martial Arts Gym and returned home. After eating the supper prepared by Li Xiame, she went upstairs to take a shower, sighed comfortably, and was about to lie down and rest. Suddenly there was a tuk-tuk-tuk sound outside the window. What? Wang Tang jumped up, and subconsciously used his eyes of spiritual vision to look out the window. A cloud of faint blue light. Not very strong, but it is indeed the light of the Force. Yulin, what attribute is it? Wang Tang breathed a sigh of relief. This level of force was no threat to him. At the same time, he was also a little puzzled. He had never seen the properties of this color. Tuk-tuk. The creature outside knocked on the window impatiently. It looks like it should be a bird, but how did it come here? He walked to the window, secretly on guard. Open the window. A chubby Scotch chicken. Wang Tang was a little surprised. Looking down, I saw a long strip-shaped object, tightly wrapped, at the feet of this round-faced fat chicken. There is a line written on the package. Owl Express, the mission must be achieved. ? Express delivery. What a mission. Is this really the era of martial arts? Instead of the Wizarding World invasion? Wang Tang realized that he was really short-sighted, and he took a while to accept the fact that it was a courier. He suddenly thought of something, and quickly took out his mobile phone to contact the owner of Master Lu, took a photo and said, "This is the courier you sent." "Yes dear, are you surprised, are you surprised, are you happy?" The other party replied in seconds. Even if it is almost 12 o'clock, it is no exception. Does this shopkeeper stay in front of the computer 24 hours a day? Besides, what a surprise, what a surprise, what a happy fool, can you stop being so skinny like me? Now, he sort of understands why the owner of Master Lu has a mysterious look on his face. Who would have thought that a courier would be delivered by an owl? Is the world of warriors so fantastic? In addition, Master Lu, the shop owner, is really not lying, the delivery is really fast. Interprovincial courier. It was sent at noon, and it arrived at night. Magic. Is this fat chicken with a round face edible? I suddenly want to eat barbecue. Wong Tang replied. Round, a fat chicken with a round face. Barbecue. The other side is completely dumbfounded. Shouldn't you be surprised at this time? Shouldn't you be surprised? What kind of abnormal psychology do you want to eat roasted round-faced fat chicken? Pooh, what a fat chicken with a round face, it's obviously an owl. Otherwise I'll call you a takeaway. Omega equals, quote. Wong Tang didn't expect the owner of the sand sculpture shop to really believe it. At this time, the round-faced fat chicken became even more impatient, and croaked a few times. It definitely can't guess what kind of vicious thoughts the person in front of him just had towards it. Sorry, it's been a long wait. After Wong Tang finished speaking, he realized that this was not the courier boy at all, but an owl. However, I didn't expect disdain to appear on that round face. A look of disdain. Can you imagine the look of disdain on an owl's face? Wong Tang took a deep breath, tried his best to hold his collapsed three views, and unwrapped the package from the owl's leg. Cuckoo. A small backpack was hanging on the owl. At this time, it grabbed the receipt and pen from it with its claws, and put it in front of Wong Tang. Wong Tang was very surprised by the cleverness of this round-faced fat chicken. Look at the receipt and sign your name. The owl stuffed the receipt and the pen back into the backpack, then let out a goo, and flew away. The speed was so fast that it disappeared into the night in the blink of an eye. Wong Tang looked at the back of the round-faced fat chicken flying away, and the phrase, Owl Express, the mission must be fulfilled, kept swiping the screen in his mind. Hastily shook his head. He closed the window, returned to the bed, and unwrapped the package, revealing the black wooden box inside. Hidden military box. Wong Tang stroked the silver runes on the surface of the Tibetan military box, and the more he looked at it, the more he liked it. The store also thoughtfully gave a black handbag, which can be carried by hand or carried behind the back. Put the Tibetan military box inside and zip it up, so that no one can see what it is at all. Perfect. The next day, Saturday, Wong Tang still came to Jixing Martial Arts. Along the way, I greeted familiar students. Brother Peng, it's so early, work hard. Hey, boy, exercise is youth, hurry up and practice. Peng Hai sweated, revealing his bronzed skin, gave a thumbs up, and grinned at Wong Tang. He is the brother who taught Wong Tang the 9th National Broadcasting Gymnastics. After Wong Tang was promoted to the 3rd floor, he met him not long after. When Peng Hai saw Wong Tang, he was surprised. After all, it was the first time he met Wong Tang, and Wong Tang was still a rookie in the 9th National Broadcasting Practice Gymnastics. Well, although not now. But that's not the point. The point is how long has it been since Wong Tang has become a high-level martial artist. In this regard, Wong Tang naturally used the set of practiced martial arts a long time ago rhetoric to fool him. As for National 9th Broadcasting Gymnastics, and so on, it's all floating clouds. Many children from rich families don't like to practice this. After all, it's too shameful. They have better ways of exercising. So Peng Hai was not too entangled. You boy, you are late today, hurry up and compete with me. Zhang Xiaoyang's eyes lit up immediately when he saw Wong Tang, and he was about to practice boxing. You forgot how badly you lost last time, and you still dare to compete with me. Wong Tang joked. Since Wong Tang's basic boxing skills have been refined, Zhang Xiaoyang has never won again. Now his basic boxing skills have reached the stage of enlightenment. Compared with this, hee. I've been sparring with you for a while, and my boxing skills have improved a lot. Now I'm about to reach the subtleties. I won't lose to you this time. Zhang Xiaoyang snorted and said quite proudly. Since you want to be cruel, then I'll satisfy you. Wong Tang didn't say much, but shook his head, showing an expression of caring for the mentally retarded. It's hard to say who will win. Zhang Xiaoyang was furious, clenched his fists, and attacked Wang Tang. A few minutes later, Zhang Xiaoyang covered his eyes. Don't you know that you don't hit people in the face? It's so ruthless. You should be glad that I just slapped you in the face, and I attacked you just now. If you don't know me, I will definitely make him doubt his life. Wang Tang sneered. Zhang Xiaoyang said with a dry smile, who made you so perverted? You have already reached the enlightenment stage. I have no power to fight back, so I can only do this. TCH, it's my fault for saying that, who insisted on looking for abuse just now? Wang Tang said with contempt. Zhang Xiaoyang was speechless, as if he really asked for it himself. He didn't dare to compete with Wang Tang anymore, so he walked aside in a murmur, and went to practice his boxing skills on his own. Wang Tang shook his head. The gap between the two was bound to get bigger and bigger, and it was meaningless to compete. He turned his head, just in time to see a disappearing attribute bubble, felt distressed for a second, and immediately began to harvest attribute bubbles. I, Wang Tang, never cease to become stronger. Power *2. Speed 1. Spirit 0.3. Basic Stick Method 3. Blank Attribute 3. Spirit 0.5. Ha! Wang Tang was surprised. Appeared, the blank attribute appeared again. Blank Attribute 3. Wang Tang thought for a while, and directly added 3 blank attributes to the spiritual vision talent. So far, he hasn't found any way to improve the spiritual vision talent, he can only use the blank attribute to add points. At the end of the day, before falling asleep, Wang Tang called up the property panel. Perception 93, Spirit 31, Talent, Primary Fire Talent 11/300, Primary Ice Talent 13/300, Primary Earth Talent 12/300, Spiritual Vision Primary 1.410, Demon Lotus Poison 15/10,000. Original Force 64/100, Fire 1-star Trooper Level 8/100, Ice 1-star Trooper Level 7/100, Earth 1-star Trooper Level 30/100, Poison 1-star Trooper Level. Cultivation Method Qianju 21/100 for entry, Xuanbingju 12/100 for entry, Wangtugong 2 Yuan Shield 15/100 for entry. Combat Skills. Basic Combat Skills: Fist, Sword, Knife, Body Comprehension, Basic Stick Technique, Complete Spear Technique, Minor Success, Fire Lin Sword Technique, Introductory 43/100, Phantom Ice Fist, Introductory 13/100. Knowledge. Basic Subjects, Full Marks, 5-year Martial Arts Exam and 3-year Simulation, 80 points. Comprehensive Combat Power, 221. Blank Attribute, 0. Seeing the above changes, Wang Tang was very satisfied. Recently, his savvy and spirit have improved, making him feel that his mind is becoming clearer and more flexible. The Spirit Vision talent has added 3 points to the blank attribute, and now it is 1.4. Although this number looks shabby, it has improved anyway. And because Wang Tang only practiced the basic stick technique today, this combat skill has improved very quickly, and the accumulation of the whole day has allowed it to improve again and become complete. On the contrary, the attribute of the spear technique has remained the same. Since killing several bank robbers, it has never encountered the attribute of the spear technique. Rune firearms are a very popular weapon. Many warriors specialize in spearmanship, and they are proficient in one-handed spearmanship, which is amazingly powerful. Wang Tang did not underestimate the role of spear skills at all, not to mention that spear skills helped him kill a warrior before. Therefore, if you have the opportunity, you must also improve your spear skills. Being a sharpshooter is also a good character. Bew bew bew. If one shot can't solve the problem, then 2 shots will be enough. It's very tiring to kill. Sunday. Falcon Shooting Club. Wang Tang parked the supercar at the gate, threw the car keys to the doorman, and asked him to park the car, while he walked into the club lobby. Falcon Shooting Club is a premium shooting club. It is very famous in the East China Sea, and many rich and famous ladies who like to play with guns mostly use it as their first choice. The more people play, the less attributes will definitely be lost. Although many people are playing tickets and focusing on experience and entertainment, some of them must have real skills. Wang Tang went to the front desk to go through the formalities, paid the money, and became a member of the club directly. The staff was immediately respectful. "Members, you are so arrogant." Led by a beautiful woman in a black hip-wrapping skirt, Wang Tang came to the shooting range, glanced inside, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up. There are many attribute bubbles floating on the ground. 1, 2, 3. Wang Tang knew that he did not come in vain this time, nor did the members charge in vain. The beauty in the hip-wrapping skirt explained something, and Wang Tang let her go, and started walking around by himself. Spearmanship *2. Spearmanship 1. Spearmanship 1. Seeing the continuous growth of spear skills, Wang Tang almost laughed out loud. Various shooting techniques kept popping up in my mind, and at the same time, my body became more and more familiar with firearms, my eyes became sharper, and my accuracy improved. He felt that as long as he held the gun, he could easily perform some difficult skills, and he could easily hit objects 100 meters away. This feeling is simply not too cool. With the continuous improvement of spear skills, Wang Tang suddenly felt a little itchy when he saw others playing so vigorously. So he ran to the staff to get a gun, found an empty position, and had a good time. Wang Tang was familiar with the gun in his hand. This is a Falcon series rune gun, with a rough and handsome shape, and a wild beauty, which can only be appreciated by those who love guns. He raised his gun and took aim. The movements are done in one go, extremely proficient, like a veteran who has played with guns for several years. Boom! Pull the trigger. The body of the gun shook. An ordinary person might not be able to control the recoil, but Wang Tang's hands were steady and did not tremble at all. Bang bang bang. He didn't stop, and then fired a few more shots, and his movements didn't seem to change during the period. But if you are a sharp-eyed person, you may notice that every time he shoots, his arms and wrists are slightly adjusted, and they are not the same. 10 rings. Wang Tang put down his gun, feeling a little unsatisfied. The difficulty is too low to be fun to play. He continued to pick up attributes, and occasionally shot a few shots, covering up a little, so as not to look too different and attract attention. Good marksmanship. Suddenly there was a loud shout from the front. Wang Tang walked over and found a group of people gathered around to watch a middle-aged man shoot a gun. This man had a cropped cut, his face looked a little resolute, and his body revealed a faint military temperament. At this time, he was shooting a moving target, and he shot from time to time, hitting 10 rings every time. Amateurs next to me can't help applauding. Finally came across a promising one. Wang Tang's eyes lit up, he squeezed away from the crowd, moved closer, and picked up a few air bubbles on the ground. Spearmanship 10. Spearmanship 7. Spearmanship 13. Newbie. For the attributes dropped by this man, Wang Tang had to pick up at least a dozen amateur attributes to make up enough. Master. Must be a master. This is the difference between a master and an amateur. Wang Tang looked at the attribute panel, and the marksmanship attribute finally jumped from small to great, and the power increased greatly. Brother, you are a god of marksmanship. Seeing the shortcut man shoot, someone immediately went up to chat. I'm sorry, my marksmanship is accurate at best, but I can't be called a god, said the man with a cut head modestly. You're not a god yet, so how can you be considered a god? The people next to him were a little unbelievable. Don't you believe me? I once saw a man with superb marksmanship, and he is called a god. The man with a short cut seemed to be recalling something, and his face was filled with emotion. How magical is that? Someone asked curiously. Have you ever seen a sharpshooter that can turn? The man with a short cut said mysteriously. Wang Tang was attracted by their conversation, and he planned to continue picking up attributes, but now he couldn't help but stop. Bending marksmanship. Is it so mysterious? Are you making a fantasy film? No, although it's not a fantasy movie, it's a martial arts drama. In the age of martial arts, everything is possible. The rhetorical question of the man with the cut head made everyone look at each other in dismay. A group of amateurs and people with good marksmanship have never seen a few of them seriously, let alone super gods. The man with a flat cut head was lost in memory, then sighed, and said, I have seen him before. That man is a true marksman, and his marksmanship is as good as a god, but unfortunately he was too conceited, fell into someone else's trick, and killed him with his most proud marksmanship. His most beloved woman. What he said surprised everyone. Seeing the pity on the face of the cut man, even if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they felt that the man was very pitiful. Tisk. Wang Tang smacked his mouth, not knowing what expression he should have. Then what happened next? The person next to him couldn't help asking. The others were also staring at the man with a cropped head, full of curiosity, wanting to know the follow-up development. Later, he couldn't bear the blow and had a mental breakdown, and now he is in the western suburb mental hospital. The man with a short cut said regretfully. Ah, everyone really didn't expect such a result, and they sighed again. Western Suburb Mental Hospital. Wang Tang muttered the name of the place, his eyes sparkled, and he didn't know what the hell he was thinking. After lunch at noon, Wang Tang went straight to the Shijiao Mental Hospital. The place is not difficult to find. Follow the navigation and drive to the western suburbs, and you can easily find your destination. Wang Tang stopped the car and got off. In front of me is an old building with gray and white as the main tone. The walls are mottled and surrounded by iron railings. The paint on the surface has peeled off, showing rust, and the corners are covered with weeds, as if no one has taken care of it for a long time. Wang Tang was a little surprised at the dilapidation of the mental hospital and the desolation nearby. It stands to reason that in modern society, shouldn't mental hospitals pay more attention to the environment? Why does this place look like a haunted house in a movie? If you live in this kind of place for a long time, you will get sick if you don't get sick. Feeling puzzled, Wang Tang walked into the mental hospital. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but he always felt chilly inside. As a warrior, his hearing is much stronger than that of ordinary people. Standing at the door of the mental hospital, he seemed to be able to hear the sound of someone wearing slippers running in the empty corridor. Blah blah. Hiss. Wang Tang couldn't help shivering. Eggy, I don't know if it was the right decision to come to this mental hospital. Hello, I want to visit that Mr. Gun God. In the lobby on the first floor of the Western Suburb Mental Hospital, Wang Tang explained his purpose to the nurse at the front desk. The nurse lowered her head and played with her mobile phone, but there was no response. Hello, Wang Tang spoke again patiently. What's the matter? The nurse suddenly raised her head, with a big face and a pair of squinted eyes, staring at Wang Tang. Stare, quote. Wang Tang had an idea. I think you must look good if you lose weight. Really? The pie-faced nurse's eyes lit up suddenly. Of course, people who know me call me an honest young man, and you can trust my words. Wang Tang said confidently. Then I must lose weight and prove it to everyone. That's right, prove it to them. Prove it to them, I've lost weight, and I'm still ugly, ha 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 ha. The pie-faced nurse suddenly laughed wildly. Quote. Wang Tang. Mental hospital, even the staff are so abnormal. Wang Tang looked in horror at the laughing nurse in front of her. She was out of breath from laughing, and the powder on her face fell down. What, can I meet Mr. Gunslinger? When the nurse's laughter gradually subsided, Wang Tang asked cautiously. Mr. Gun God, which one are you talking about? We have 9 self-proclaimed gun gods here. The pie-faced nurse said. Wang Tang suddenly felt a little pain in his head. He wondered again whether it was the right decision for him to come to this mental hospital. The one who killed his own woman by mistake. Wang Tang said after considering his words. Oh, you said that, poor thing, unlucky. The pie-faced nurse said with a blank expression but a dazed look. It's him, it's him. Wang Tang nodded. Sorry, we don't allow anyone to visit here. The pie-faced nurse lowered her head and played with her phone again. Quote. Wang Tang felt the veins on his forehead twitch. Refused to visit. Why didn't you say so earlier? Oh, I see that you have a great desire to chat, so I will reluctantly chat with you for a while, the pie-faced nurse said without raising her head. Dog day, even if labor and capital die, they won't have the desire to chat with you. Wang Tang was almost suffocated by his own complaints. I never thought that I, Wang Tang, would fall into the hands of a big-faced woman like you. Snort. With an angry snort, he flung his sleeves and left. Wang Tang returned to the shooting club, full of grief and indignation turned into motivation to pick up attributes. I picked up. Spearmanship 1. Spearmanship *2. Spearmanship 5. The spear skills that have been mastered are constantly impacting towards perfection. In the busy, time flies. In the evening, Wang Tang went home for dinner, and then went to the rented house in the university city to visit Xiaodandan. It hasn't hatched yet. Afterwards, instead of going to the shooting club, he went to the Polestar Martial Arts Hall. Leave until 11 o'clock. Then, Wang Tang returned to the Shijiao Mental Hospital. The western suburbs were originally desolate and sparsely populated, but at this point, they were even more deserted, and the surroundings were eerily silent. Wang Tang felt that this place was more pleasant than during the day. The mental hospital in the dark is like a giant beast crawling on the ground, waiting for the approach of the ignorant and then devouring it. So should I go back home? Is it too late now? Although a little timid, but for the sake of his attributes, Wang Tang finally took a deep breath, and with the determination to never return, he quietly entered the mental hospital. The gate was guarded by security guards, so Wang Tang had to climb over the wall to get in. At the front desk, the nurse with a pie-faced face during the day has changed. Now it is a male nurse, leaning on a chair and watching a TV series. The content of the plot heard from the voice seems to be some kind of anti-Japanese drama. Wang Tang made a noise outside the door, and the male nurse raised his head immediately. Who? There was no response for a long time. He stood up suspiciously and walked towards the door. Wang Tang listened to the sound of footsteps, and as soon as he walked out the door, he knocked him unconscious with a hand knife. Then he dragged the man back to the corner, thought about it, took off his work coat, and put it on himself. Wear a mask again. Seeing this attire, Wang Tang couldn't help but praise himself for his wit. Only then did he lower his head, avoid the camera, walk to the front desk and sit down. Wang Tang turned on the computer, checked the internal records of the mental hospital, and wrote down the room numbers of several suspected mentally ill patients. After taking down a bunch of keys hanging on the wall, he walked upstairs. The corridor was quiet. Even though I tried my best to lighten my footsteps, there would still be slight noises. If it spread to his own ears, he would feel a little hairy. The first one, room number 203. Wang Tang followed the room number and walked to the door of 203. He glanced in from the window and saw a figure sleeping on the bed. He found the corresponding room key, opened the door softly, and walked in. There was a person lying on the bed, who seemed to be sleeping soundly, and beside him, there were a few bubbles floating quietly. There are still bubbles that haven't disappeared. Wang Tang's eyes lit up immediately. He didn't expect to be pleasantly surprised when he came in. These few bubbles may have just fallen. Before they had time to disappear, they were bumped into by him. Pick up. Spirit 1. Spirit 0.5. Quote. Wang Tang couldn't be too happy when he found out that it was a spiritual attribute, and the amount was not small. They're all mental attributes. Could it be that mental patients still lose spiritual attributes? Wang Tang was suddenly a little confused. If his guess is correct, what the hell is this setting? Shaking his head, he walked over directly and pushed the person on the bed to wake up. Hey, wake up, it's time to take medicine. The man was dazed and muttered, "Isn't it the medicine you just took? Why did you take it again?" "Oh, I missed one item just now, and I suddenly remembered it, so I hurried to make it up for you," Wang Tang said ghostly. The man took the Luwei de Wang Wan from Wang Tang, put it in his mouth, and swallowed it in one gulp. This Liushan pill was specially bought by Wang Tang on the road, in order to nourish the kidneys of these poor mental patients. Wang Tang watched him take the medicine, and asked casually, "I heard that you are very accurate with marksmanship." As soon as the other party heard this, he immediately regained his spirits. "You actually know my skills. Let me tell you, my marksmanship is accurate. One shot can knock down the planes in the sky." At the mention of taking a plane, a morbid excitement suddenly appeared on his face. "Really? Can you demonstrate it to me?" Wang Tang said. "No problem, you take care of it." He began to take off his pants. He actually started taking off his pants. Quote. Wang Tang. Seeing that something hot-eyed was about to happen, he quickly cut him unconscious with a knife in his hand. Mental patients are really scary. But just now, another attribute bubble fell from the mental patient. Spirit 0.5. Quote. So shouldn't he be allowed to perform for a while just now? Wang Tang quickly shook off the thoughts in his mind. That kind of picture was so beautiful that he didn't even dare to think about it. He would rather not have spiritual attributes than see that kind of picture. The eyes will grow needles. Close the door and look for the next mental patient who can shoot like a god. As for whether the previous one is still lying on the ground, don't care about me. 207, 208. The next one is in room 209, but when passing by room 208, the lights inside are on. Wang Tang suddenly saw a familiar person. Pie-faced nurse. How could she be in the ward? Wang Tang was full of doubts. Could it be? Could it be that she is actually a mental patient who sneaked out during the day and pretended to be a nurse at the front desk? And I talked with a mental patient for a long time. Wang Tang felt that his whole body was not well, and the whole mental hospital seemed to be filled with malice, and was quietly surrounding him. Cursing secretly, Wang Tang didn't have the slightest desire to explore, so he went directly to room 209, opened the door and walked in. Bew, bew bew bew. In the room, a man was shooting into the air. Who are you? Did the squad leader ask you to support me? He asked excitedly when he saw Wang Tang. Wang Tang saw the attribute bubbles all over the place, and picked them up silently. Spirit 1, Spirit 0.8, Spirit 1.5, they are all mental attributes, and none of them are marksmanship attributes. It seems that this is another fake spear god. However, my guess seems to be right. Mental patients lose their spiritual attributes. The person who came up with this setting must be a talent. Wang Tang looked at the ceiling speechlessly. Hey, why didn't you answer me? Could it be, you are a traitor? Seeing that Wang Tang hadn't responded for a long time, the man looked suspicious and gestured to raise his gun. Shoot him dead. That's right, kill him. This showman, looking at this expression, and looking at the number of dropped spiritual attributes, I am afraid that he is already dying. For a hopeless mental patient, it is impossible to answer anything, and it will be done with a knife. Hey, why is it so difficult to find someone? Wang Tang closed the door inside. Continue. Next is the third floor. From the first floor to the third floor, it was like a group of demons dancing wildly, and many patients didn't sleep at all. The lights were on in most of the rooms, and there were scenes of farces that made people laugh and cry, but felt hairy in their hearts. A lot of attribute bubbles. Wang Tang was dazzled and opened a door at random. I saw a patient squatting on the ground, motionless, with many attribute bubbles scattered around. Take the medicine. Take the medicine. Wang Tang shouted. Don't bother me. A faint voice came out, and he remained motionless and huddled in the corner. Wang Tang walked over. Pick up. Spirit 0.5. Spirit 1. Spirit 1.2. Why do you keep squatting here? Wang Tang was really curious and couldn't help asking. I'm a pile of cow dung. The faint voice came out again. Oh, why are you a pile of cow dung instead of pig dung and sheep dung? Wang Tang asked. Only cow dung flowers can be planted. What you said makes sense. After Wang Tang picked up the attributes, he turned around and left. He really had nothing in common with a pile of cow dung. Goodbye, no, never see you again. Next, he visited one by one. Finally, I have seen what it means to be a mental patient with many tricks. Like the one in front of you. Do you know who I am? Who are you? I am the Creator God. God said that there must be light, so this world has light. God said that there must be air between the waters. Did God say you should take your medicine? This is a guy who writes online novels. He wants to become a god. In order to enhance the reading experience of readers, he does not hesitate to use cheating writing methods. Then there is no more. Now he is his god in this mental hospital, not a great god, earning millions a year, and winning by Fume has nothing to do with him. Next person, a fetishist, hugging a pillow with a beautiful girl in the second dimension, rubbing and rubbing, licking and licking non-stop, and chatting with the beautiful girl on the pillow. Soccer, a country must owe you a beautiful girl in the second dimension. Amen, may the sun bless you. The next one, it's really a posture. Wang Tang sighed, and finally arrived outside the room of the last target person. If this is not true, then he must have been fooled by the shortcut man during the day. Although I found a place where I can brush my spiritual attributes by mistake, I, Wang Tang, was actually cheated. I couldn't bear it. Open the door. There was a man sitting beside the bed in the room. He had long black hair, and he was still a high imitation of instant noodles, with a shaggy beard, melancholy eyes, and of vicissitudes of life. Handsome. This is a very handsome and charming man. Compared with the previous mentally ill patients, this man looked so normal that he didn't look like a mentally ill patient. But Wang Tang couldn't help raising his vigilance. Mental illness, the more normal it looks, the more dangerous it is, right? Hello? Wang Tang asked cautiously. Hello. The man raised his head. His voice was hoarse, but it sounded surprisingly gentle. He sized Wang Tang up and said, "You are not a staff member here." "I'm here. I know, but don't say it, or I'll go berserk and I can't control it." He seemed to know what Wang Tang was going to say, and stopped him before Wang Tang finished speaking. "Don't say anything. Brother, can you give me some hints, otherwise how would I guess?" Wang Tang was a little confused. He didn't say it after all, but he was sure that this man was the one he was looking for. The things that can't be said are not about the gun, but about his beloved. This is a bit difficult. You can't even talk about it. How can you fix it? This man is no different from a normal person if he doesn't get sick, and he can't be fooled. Wang Tang clearly felt that this man was not an ordinary person, at least when he faced him directly, he felt very dangerous. If he treats this man like he did to those patients before, he will probably die a miserable death. "It seems that you ran for nothing today." The man smiled and asked, "Do you have any cigarettes?" Wang Tang was slightly taken aback. This turning point almost flashed my waist. He took out a cigarette, handed it to the other party, and sighed, "Oh, I'm a little disappointed, but it's not in vain." The man lit a cigarette and returned it to Wang Tang. Wang Tang was depressed, so he also lit one, and the two of them began to puff and smoke in this ward. "You are good, you are a warrior at such a young age," the man said suddenly. Wang Tang was shocked. "How did you see that? It feels like there's still the force," the man said. "Are you a warrior too?" Wang Tang asked. The man smiled, did not speak, and then fell into silence until he finished smoking. "It's a pity that there is no wine, and I haven't had a drink for a long time," the man said. "If you want to drink, I can bring you some next time." Wang Tang got up and was about to leave. "Wait a moment." Wang Tang turned his head, saw an object thrown by the man, and quickly caught it. "What? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."